Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard, and I'm joined by Lily Padman.
Hi.
We had the great privilege of seeing Wicked early.
What a dream.
And our guest today, Cynthia Erivo, is so dynamic and so powerful and so infectious and intoxicating and euphoria-inducing.
Yes.
I fell so in love with her in this movie.
She's so good. So good in the movie. She's such a cool person. She's also she just hosted the CFDA Awards. That's a huge fashion thing. She's very cool.
And then she arrived and she over-delivered. You have seen her in Harriet, Windows, Bad Times at El Royale, The Color Purple on Broadway. She's won all the awards. And of course, November 22nd, just in time for the big turkey day, Wicked. You're going to want to run out and see it. Buy your tickets now. Pre-order. If you didn't pre-order a month ago, you should already be panicked.
Yeah, panic.
Please enjoy Cynthia Erivo. We are supported by Audible. They've stepped in as a presenting sponsor of this episode. With Audible, there's more to imagine when you listen. So keep listening and watching to hear more about why we love Audible during the fact check.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
How long have you been doing this?
We launched in February of 2018. Almost 7 years.
Yeah. You're many people's favorite.
Oh, thank you. We try to do the opposite of clickbaity. Even talk shows, which we love, you just go in and you do your thing and then you get out and there's no context and things blow up. Trying to sort of be the antidote to that.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for us too. Things get so out of control.
Yes, they do.
Getting worse by the second. I don't
know what the heck is happening. People are seeking out the worst of things. It's very strange.
It's a little bit of we say outrage addiction.
Yeah. And really unhealthy.
It is. We're in sort of an interesting time where I feel like celebrities, especially newer celebrities, are starting to push back and question fandom in a really interesting
It's where
way.
the boundary is.
Exactly.
Where you get to be a part of my life and then when I get to have my life for myself.
Yeah. That you're a person.
Just reminding people that humanity exists.
Yeah.
You can be a human being.
Exactly. It's sad that we have to remind people, but...
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do it.
Oh, man.
We don't really
Oh, you smell so good. God, I smell like sweat. I just want to know. Hey.
Yeah, well
Good
done.
morning.
Oh, thank you. Well, this is a long time coming. Oh, my goodness.
You're a miniature too.
You are miniature.
You're in good company. Bonnie, are you jealous? She has even bigger pants on than you.
I know.
wore.
Her
She
fashion's
set a new
unreal.
record. I'm Dax, by the way.
Hi, Dad.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
We've already talked about bags. The fashion is outrageous.
Do you want to sit down for 2 seconds? Because I don't have the knowledge base to talk about what I thought was really funny while I was researching you.
Please sit.
Just for 1 second.
I try to tell him all the time that he only has some of the info.
Okay, Cynthia, I was watching an interview with you, and you had mentioned that you were about to do some Sondheim, and Kristen was readying herself for the day, and she stopped everything. She was like, who is she playing? What's happening?
Well, specifically because it was night music, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Who did you play?
Petra.
Of course.
Do you want to air your grievance?
Well, my grievance was I was really struggling to figure out who you were going to play. Because I was like, you have the moxie for Desiree, though you're not anywhere near
the type, near the age for it.
Right.
So your grievance, as I recalled, was you only played the child in that. Is that the same musical?
Yes. So I've done night music twice. I did it at the Kennedy Center during Sondheim Rep a million years ago, and then I did it at the LA Opera House.
That's cool.
But both times I played Frederica.
What?
Who's 13?
Who's 13 years old. The whole time I dream of playing Anne.
Yeah, no, Anne's phenomenal.
Well, now's your chance.
Go.
What
go.
you
Sing off.
Now as the sweet imbecility stumbles so lavishly onto her lap. Yes.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Dax informed me pretty bluntly this morning.
Yes.
I can't pull off Anne either. He said, you're
Why?
way more of a Desiree. I said, what do you
Hold on.
mean?
First of all, I didn't
Come
say that
on.
because I don't know the names of the characters.
And we
but
need
what I did
context
say is
for-
that you are closer in age. This is bad news, I'm going to tell you. You're closer in age to 63 than you are 24.
True.
I said, now look, you could put on a ton of makeup and play 24. They could do some prosthetics and age you down. Or you could go out on stage with no makeup and you'd be playing 64.
Can you believe?
I'm offended for you.
It's ludicrous. That's why I say it, because obviously she's a beauty.
It's like you
and she
age
looks-
backwards. It's very
Yeah,
strange.
yeah.
It's a good joke because it's absolutely the most untrue thing in the world. I think you could still play Anne. I couldn't pull off Anne at all. Petra was perfect.
Wait, what's Petra's solos?
The Miller's Son.
Oh, I don't. Oh yeah.
You've
yeah.
already done it or you're about to do it?
I did it at Lincoln Center.
Oh, it was a one-off.
No.
It was
I'm
one of,
furious.
well, 4 nights.
Did you want for more or were you happy it was only 4 nights?
I was happy it was only 4 nights because it was manic. I was doing 59 other things at the same time. On one day, I opened something in the morning, did something in the afternoon, which was like a full 20-minute set show for Pride Weekend, and ran from the Pride Weekend show to
That was the
Lincoln Center.
Stonewall?
That's right, to do night music.
And that's a dangerous song if your head is not straight. It is such a wordy song.
There was actually a night where I had to stop because it's also dangerous if you're not moving at the right speed. If it slows down too much, your brain switches on. It's one of those songs that you need your brain to be on autopilot so you can actually just reel the words off. And if it slows down, and it felt like it was slowing to a grinding halt, it's like that weird sort of, oh my God, I'm in the room. What are the words again?
There's too
Is that
many
the word I'm
words in that
saying?
song.
And I just was like, okay, we have to stop. I am a big advocate for if it's going wrong, stop.
Interesting, because I was just going to ask, do you have a mode where you'll just, the melody still,
Yep.
and you just kind of make up some words
No,
until we find our way back?
Stop. We're not going to do a car crash. I can't.
Oh, that's
I'm going to
nice.
say, you know what? I'm going to pull over to the side of the road.
That's great.
We're going to just start again. Let's get back into the right space. And I'm going to take you exactly where you're supposed to go in the right fashion. We're not focused here.
Let's regroup.
Yeah, we're
That's
swerving too
admirable.
much here. It's not good.
Yeah, we're
'Cause
all
I
over
feel
the
like-
road.
Yeah.
That's not what at least I was taught in musical theater. It's like keep it
I know,
going.
and it's the wrong thing to be taught. Sometimes you keep going. Sometimes if you can and you can get back into it quickly, keep going. But if you need to stop and refocus because the audience will say, oh, you know it too. You were experiencing it too.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I wasn't insane. That means you're taking care of me.
Oh,
I can trust
love
you.
that.
What you're saying is, I'm not going to gaslight you, audience.
Yes.
This is all fucked up.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
This ain't it. And this is not what I want to do. This is not what you want to listen to. We're going to go back to the beginning. It also says that I'm in control of this and I've got you.
Yeah.
I won't take you down this road where it doesn't make sense.
What if you went so far as to say, I want everyone to re-enter, go out in the lobby
Back
and
to
mill
one.
about. We're going to ring the
Back
bell.
to
Too
one.
far.
Then come in.
Maybe too far.
Okay, just to be provocative for 1 second.
Go on.
One second.
For 2 hours. Did you see American Symphony, the John Baptiste documentary?
Yes, I did.
What a beautiful doc, right?
Beautiful.
But if you remember, he's at Carnegie Hall and all the power goes out.
Yes.
And he's fucked. I
Yeah.
can't imagine anything more stressful. And then talk about 27 things going on
Yes.
in his life. He's got the Grammys, his wife, and then he starts letting his internal emotions come out on this piano
Yeah.
keyboard. And he's processing this frustration and this everything. And then slowly it starts fusing with this melody.
Yes.
And then it becomes beautiful. And then magically the power comes back on. There is also some room for the chaos, if embraced, to become
Yes.
something unique and interesting.
However, what he didn't do was continue on with what was already pre-planned. What he did was start something totally new.
You've won that. Checkmate.
You see what I'm
Great
saying?
counter.
Which means that he was completely in control of the situation. He said, what we were planning, out the window. There's no power. I can't do this. And then just let me filter whatever I can filter through in the present moment.
Well, listen, I just wanted to bring Kristen in because the whole house was aflutter today. Now, Kristen's in. She believes this ruse. Mysteriously, our 11-year-old had an emotional fit this morning that precluded her from going to school on time because she knew somebody was coming to the house at 11.
Is she here?
No, we had to send her.
I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, oh, she's having a swing. Okay, we're going to let her regulate. I'm going to stand back. I'm going to let her get it all out. She's crying, the whole 9 yards. We finally calmed down on the ride to school. She goes, is Cynthia the 11 a.m. or the 2 p.m.? That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
had a
gosh.
feeling you guys were going to keep them home from school today.
I used my optimistic outlook. I said, this will not be the last time.
It won't.
We're going to
It
double
won't.
date. There's going to be some other time where you will be able to be in her presence
Yes.
and say what she means to you because you mean quite a bit to her.
But, hun, if Brad Pitt was coming over to clean the pool at 11 a.m. and I mysteriously couldn't make my appointment at 10, you would go immediately, this is horseshit. He just wants to watch Brad Pitt clean our pool.
That's true, but I immediately take on their emotions. She started to get dysregulated, and then I started to get dysregulated, and I was like chugging coffee to wake up, be like, how do we calm everybody down this morning? Then I called your sister to take the other one in.
And I was
It was
Evil
a
Oz
thing.
upstairs journaling.
Yeah.
And I was listening to all the machinations and I was like, this is horseshit, but it's going to work. And
I
this
didn't even realize until really this moment what was pulled over on me.
Oh my God.
Well, listen, some people will be disappointed, but that's something to be quite proud of. Our
Well
child
done.
did snow
Yeah,
us.
that she gave it a shot for something she
did.
loves.
That is sweet. And also, I feel really cool.
Good.
Are really
Yeah, you
cool.
I feel
are.
really cool that your 11-year-old was like, yeah.
And you're bringing something for everybody because then you showed up in this outfit and now Monica's all on the ropes. She's
Stimulated.
fucked up.
You're more than an outfit to me, though. Don't
you
let
so
him
much.
do that.
Thank you.
You got us all fucked up. This place is a
Thanks.
titter.
I'm gonna
I
come
think we
back.
should call it. That was a great episode. We can go only down from here. So, what do you think about this really bad sample set I have? But 30-year-old London, what do we share? Endlessly interested in whatever weird cultural differences we have because it's misleadingly similar.
As in between here and America.
Yeah, right. You're like, oh yeah, English shows, blah blah blah. But then there's really interesting differences.
It's weird because when I first moved here, I moved to New York, and that felt the most similar to London specifically. But the thing that America and the UK as a whole have very similarly is that there are cities, places that it feels really multicultural and it's really like busy. And then you move further out and it becomes really disparate. I'm not having the same experience in London that someone is having in, I don't know, Yorkshire. Yorkshire's a beautiful, beautiful place. The vibe is very different and it just feels different. So it's the same as if I'm here in LA or I'm here in New York, it's very different than if I'm in Georgia.
London and New York have more in common than London and Essex
Correct.
than New York and Georgia.
Yes.
I get that.
The foods are different. We just have different food because
Yeah.
we have to.
Why do you have to?
Well, there are certain things that we're just not allowed to have in our food that you're okay to have in food here.
Oh, like
Oh, like
chemically.
poison.
Yeah, chemically.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
like not
Yeah.
allowed to
Stuff.
have certain things.
Yeah, but look how big and strong we are. Look at the UFC.
Well, yeah. I don't think we have. Do we have the UFC?
Yes,
Maybe
Conor
we do.
McGregor.
Yeah.
I'm scared of him.
I'm scared of him a little bit, but I do
Yeah.
think like
He wants
some
you
of
to
his
be scared
bravado.
of him, yeah.
Because he's scared.
I feel like there's a part of him that's just like the most gentle, sweetest thing in the world.
Well, this might interest you. We interviewed him last year. And my main curiosity was like, what event happens before you dedicate your life to martial
Right.
arts? And so I had asked him, and he said, no, I walked into this gym at 12 years old. I'm like, yeah, but why do you walk into a boxing gym? What happened immediately before? And he's like, okay, well, actually, I liked this girl. She was older than me. She liked me. I was walking on the street with her. Then the older boys, one of whom was her boyfriend, pulled up in a car. 3 older guys got out and beat the shit out of him. And then he goes, I didn't really fight back. And I'm like, now that makes sense. When you're trying to heal that embarrassment in front of a girl you like, where you didn't defend yourself, that's a motivation that can send you on a life trajectory. And so, yeah, I think that little boy is underneath
He's
all of
underneath.
that. But
Still
boy,
trying to defend himself.
but it's really going off the rails a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just like gone one step too far. But I hope he finds a little bit of healing.
Yeah. He has little kids. I think that can be a route into it.
But I think there's something that has to be healed within himself first. It's also easily passed on to his kids. And
Yes.
that anger, that dismay, it's easily rubbed off.
Well, I say this all the time. I'm glad we have girls and not boys because, yeah, I think the impulse when that was your life is to go like, well, if I don't pass this on to him,
It'll happen
he'll
to him
suffer
too, yeah.
the way I did. And you're just starting it all up
Yeah.
again because you don't have any faith in the future. I get it.
Do you have kids?
I don't know.
Do you want them?
I don't think so. I'm good with kids
I'm also
though.
on the fence.
You guys are the exact same age.
Yeah, 37.
And you and I are only 6 days apart in January.
No way.
Do you believe in all the astrology stuff or no?
I think there's a part of me that does believe in it because I'm very Capricorn to
Yeah.
a T, which disturbs me somewhat because
Same.
it annoys me.
That's what Capricorns
think
do.
it's a
They're
Capricorn
annoyed by
thing.
the
I'm
fact
annoyed
that
by
it's
it's like
accurate.
The predictability.
I hate it. I'm like, okay, so I'm stubborn. Good. Great.
Uh-huh.
Overachieving. Yes. Understood. Do I like nice things? Yes. I like nice things.
Uh-huh. Am I in charge all the time?
All the time. Do I plan people's lives? Yes. Am I emotionally adept sometimes? Yes. Do I keep my feelings to myself for a really long time? Yes.
Yeah.
Am I working through it? Yes.
Am I insufferable? You bet your ass I am.
Completely. Am I right a lot of the times? Yes. Does it annoy people? Yes. Do I like saying I told
love
you so?
you.
Not always.
Okay,
Okay.
great. I love you. Thanks for stopping by.
You don't have to sneak out. You can come back if
She
you
has
want to.
a whole schedule.
Oh, enjoy.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. Bye.
Ah. Did you get on with Michaela?
Cole?
Yes.
I've known her since I was 16.
I love her so much. I
Yes.
read her book.
She's one of the most phenomenal human beings in the world.
Well, for people who don't know Michaela, what was her incredible show? That was the best show of the year on HBO.
I May Destroy You.
I May Destroy You.
Yeah.
If you've not seen I May Destroy
You have to see it. Also, before you see I May Destroy You, see Chewing Gum, which I'm in
Oh.
Yeah.
for
Yes.
like an episode or two. But it's just brilliant.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And people don't realize that is originally based on a long form poem that she wrote. I remember the first time I saw this poem, because she performed it live. I can't even remember where we were, but it was like somewhere in Holloway or something, like this small little theatre. And it was like a one-woman poem where she played all these different roles. And then it just expanded into this TV show.
Yeah, she's like a wunderkind.
Yeah, there's no one like her.
Where did you meet?
East London. I want to say we met at one of the theatres or something.
You were just both into.
Yeah.
Are you comparable ages?
I think she's maybe a year or so younger than me.
Younger.
Yeah.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I love her. She'd written some songs or poems with songs and asked me to sing. Or I think it was when I was dancing. She asked me to dance to one of her songs that she was performing at a church or something random. And we just stayed in contact. And we've been friends since then.
Give us a simple explanation of London. So you grew up in South London. You said you met in East London.
Yeah, so I was born Southwest London, a place called Stockwell. I went to school in South London, Clapham South, but I moved to East London when I was about 14, about Upton Park, East Ham, that kind of area, but properly East London.
Your whole family did, or just you went to a school or something?
We all moved to East London.
Your sister, your mother, and you?
Yes. My mom bought a house in East London, and that's when we moved. That was a really big moment for us because it was like, oh, we have our own house. It's great.
Yeah. What's the vibe in South London? Like, what are the stereotypes about these pockets of London?
I thought that South London was pretty chill. I really enjoyed it. I remember there's open spaces, loads of like cool little parks that you can go to. It's very walkable. You can walk all around South London and mostly downhill.
And just never come home to avoid walking uphill.
The bus is your best friend
Oh,
at
the
that
bus,
point.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's lovely going, coming back is a damn nightmare, or you take a tube. There's loads of cool outdoors activities where I lived. You could go go-karting, stuff
Ooh.
like that.
Go-karting.
And East London is really vibrant. It's busy and alive, and loads of different cultures.
Is it like the East Village in New York?
No, I don't know if there's anywhere like it. You have the African community and different African communities. You've got Ghanaians, the Nigerians, you have the Pakistanis, you have Bangladesh, you have the Jamaicans there as well. There's like a smorgasbord of different types of people, which means that there's different types of food everywhere. And like it's super vibey. I can go to the corner of East Ham right after the tube station and I know that I'm going to walk into the store that has all of the saris and all of the 24 karat golds. But then if I cross the road, there's the shop that has the Jamaican patties. And if I walk far enough, there's the auntie that does the Nigerian materials. It's like that. And then there's the market, which has everything.
This is where Kirby's mom's shop was, I think.
I love it in East Ham because of how easy it is to just get everything. But then next door, Larry, who's like the plumber who fixes your roof and your backyard if he needs it, who's very, very Essex, who sounds like this and wants to talk to you about what the weather's been like, is also there.
Right.
So you have all of these people who sort of exist in the same way. And then West Ham Stadium's over there.
Uh-huh.
For what you call soccer, we call football.
Yeah, right. Which goes off.
It goes off.
Yeah. Especially in you were born in 87. Maybe that had passed, but there was the whole hoodlum era. It felt like early 90s, maybe.
Early 90s when I was still very, very young. I think it was Arsenal. That terrible, awful thing that happened at the games where people were like, there was a stampede.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
And they were all wearing Burberry. I just learned this recently. That was their thing.
Yeah, something happened. Because Burberry
Counterintuitive.
was not that. Then it became part of that culture.
Yeah.
I think it's been, in a way, reclaimed and changed
Well,
again.
Beckham has saved it, kind of.
Beckham saved it,
Yeah, what a style
We're
icon.
going to give him
Yeah.
props for that.
Beckham
That's what
did.
got me to buy a Burberry sweater. And Monica got me a beautiful one for
I
Christmas.
did.
Yeah, it's changed hands enough that the style has changed enough for it to become for the aperture in it to become wider.
Right. Okay, so what age was mom when she moved here? Mom and dad both are from Nigeria.
Yes.
Mom was 15 during the Civil War.
Yes, I believe so, Biafran War. And then my mom moved to London when she was 24.
Had she already been a nurse in Nigeria?
She did all of that when she got here.
She came at 24 with who?
Herself and her younger sister.
When she landed, what was the game plan?
I don't know if she had a game plan.
Sure,
she was
just
just
arrive.
like, arrive?
Mission
What do I
complete.
do?
Yeah.
And then she was told that she was to do catering, to which she said yes for a second and then was like, I don't know if catering's for me.
Yeah.
And then studied nursing at King's College, became a nurse, then expanded and kept expanding and then got better and better and then started doing her papers for what we call health visiting. There's a position in the UK, I always explain it because I think it's a really beautiful position that everyone should have, called a health visitor. And it is a nurse or a nurse who's at the level of what you call a sister at this point, who can make visits to people's homes who have just had children. She will take care of mother and child, make sure the vitals are good. Her particular area of expertise was cognitive health. So it's, are your children developing in the right way? Are they able to pick things up? Can they spot color from birth to the age of 3 before they go to kindergarten?
Oh my God, what a
Wow.
preventative step that probably saves a quadrillion
Very much
dollars.
so.
That's different though than a postpartum doula. What is it? Do you know what a postpartum doula is?
No, but it's weird because I think those are part of her duties, to take care of mother right after birth. When mother comes home with a baby, when parents come home with a baby,
Yeah.
that first couple of weeks, months, my mum is the person that you see.
That's so amazing.
Right.
Yeah, weighs the baby, the whole lot.
Probably knows about breastfeeding, and all
Breastfeeding,
that
the
stuff.
whole lot.
Yeah, I don't know why we don't have more of that, because that's the whole thing. You take a baby home and you're like, I don't know what to do
Then
with
my mum,
it.
that's when my mum steps in.
Yeah.
So she will tell you what's next.
Yeah, that would be of great comfort. Every parent has the moment in the car ride home from the hospital, and you're like, holy shit, what's
What
in
am
our
I
back
supposed to do?
seat?
Why'd
Yeah.
they give
What
this
is
to
that?
me?
This thing's way too fucking
There's no
fragile
instructions.
to come to our house.
Where are the instructions
This
to
thing needs
this?
to be in the ICU. Look how tiny it is.
I don't know why you don't have this position here, because it's so helpful. Because that bit between birth and kindergarten, it seems like there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
Which is so odd to me because my mum is the person in between. That means that a parent who has postpartum depression, someone who might have been already depressed, someone who is finding it hard to latch, all of that, that's my mum.
Oh, yeah. And if you fuck up the nutritional aspect of
Yes.
the first 3 years, like we now know, there's so much
Yes.
developmental stuff downriver
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't happen if certain
Correct.
things aren't met.
That would be her. And she's
That's so
very good
cool.
at it. She's like the child whisperer. It's very strange.
I would imagine, just to compare and contrast that to someone who is in hospice care, right? Where your full-time job is watching people die. The weight of that's got to be something
Oh,
else.
yeah.
She is almost the opposite. She's seen all the excitement and the fun and the hopefulness and the future.
Every day.
Do you think it has infected her in a positive way?
I think so. She loves children and children love her. It's really magical to watch. They
Yeah.
all just sort of go to her.
Is she supremely disappointed you're not going to give
I
her a
was gonna ask
grandchild?
that.
She might be, and I don't know if she knows yet. I think I have to break it to her. But the thing is, I want to satisfy that need in a very different way because I do want to be the person that's able to put people through school, take care of young people who need care. I do think that's a gift that's come from her
Yeah.
because I do think I am actually very good with kids and good with young people. I want to still be nurturing without necessarily being the biological parent.
Yes, and still
Yeah.
being able to have a date night whenever
Yes.
you desire.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
take a vacation. That sounds
Yeah.
fun.
Do you know what I love? I love what Oprah's been able to do, where she essentially has been taking care of these young women, building them up enough for them to move into whatever careers they want to move into. And they're all excellent women. I think I aspire to be able to do that
Yes.
at some point.
When do you start singing?
I start singing at the age of 5 without realizing that that's actually what I'm doing. I
You're
know
just
I'm
humming
making
along.
sound. I
Mhm.
feel very good about the sound I'm making.
Good.
I like the reaction that people are having
So
because
other
of it.
people are reacting positively.
Yes. So I know that something is good. I don't necessarily know that it's the most tuneful sound. I just know that I'm having a great time doing it. And I'm seeing people's faces, smiles, applause is happening. Good.
Yeah.
Approval.
There's nothing like being little and going like, wait, I have control. And I feel so disenfranchised and powerless as this little person. But this is a moment
This
in
is the thing
time
that-
I'm in charge.
Right.
Ooh, it's good.
It's very good. I think for a little bit, I was just chasing that because it was nice.
Yes.
I'll sing for anyone then.
You're not aware of it then. But when I look back, I also think it's very rare in your life where you can be in control. And I think singing certainly has that. It just happened to me. We saw Wicked. I'm like, okay, I didn't see the musical. I don't love musicals. And then fucking Limitless. And I'm like, oh, fucking come on, let's go. Let it rip. And I'm in. You took complete control of me and whatever baggage I come in with. That's so powerful.
But the thing is, I don't think I've ever thought of it as control necessarily. I think I've always thought of it as a way to encourage and connect people with emotion.
Well, that's the positive way. But I think you're in Capricorn denial.
Maybe. Maybe I am.
And by the way, it can be all things.
Yeah.
It's not singular. It's not binary. It's
Yeah,
not like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you like it because of the control or you like it because you make people you love happy. That's part of it.
I think I love the conversation of singing. I always think there's a real big conversation going on, especially when I'm singing live. It's a big old conversation. I can see it because I'm looking at people's eyes. I am urging them to connect with me.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you this story. I can scream, I can yell, I can whisper, I can caress with my voice. I can do all of those things, but I want the energy exchange. And I guess selfishly, that energy exchange is like a high for me. It's a rush. And when I can see that it's happening, there's nothing better than that. It is a really vulnerable place to stand and be like, I'm going to open up myself and I'm going to tell you my stories with my voice. It's just me. And that's always a really vulnerable place to be. People don't realize that when you have to sing in front of an orchestra, they either love you or hate you.
The orchestra.
The orchestra.
Why would they hate you?
Because some singers will come in and there's an entitled thing that people come to an orchestra with where it's like, I'm the singer, you play behind me.
You're serving
You're
me.
supporting
You're serving-
me.
exactly.
I'm the star.
When actually it's the complete opposite. It's not that at all. You're all in it together. The music doesn't make sense without them and they don't make sense without you. They can play the song, but the lyrics communicate as well. But they help with the emotion. If you don't do it together, it will feel disjointed. I always get really nervous before I have the conversation, but I always urge myself to do it. Before we even start rehearsal, the first thing I ask the orchestra to do is to let me come with you and let's do this together because I'm not going to do this alone. And if you're sat there not enjoying this, everyone's going to feel it.
Right.
Because there's 20 of them and only one of me. And if 20 of them aren't enjoying it and if they can't go with it, the audience will feel that immediately. And we're off in the wrong direction.
Now, I know nothing about this, just from the outside. Is there knee-jerk fear that we're playing math, right? We have the sheet music in front of us and it goes this way to this tempo.
Yeah.
But the singer has more latitude and the singer can individualize it. The
Yeah.
saxophonist can't individualize it, nor can the oboist. So is it that sometimes they're like, all right, this person's going to come in and they're going to do whatever the fuck they want and we're stuck in this grid and then we're going to try to catch them, but then we're going to fall behind. Is that their fear that they're going to be doing something that is different from what you're doing?
Yes, and I think the actual fear is that the singer who comes in, who does have the latitude, isn't respectful of the fact that they have maths to do as well. They have a box to stay in. You can have your latitude, but if you're aware of, I need to make sure I make it back to here,
You got to stick your landing every time.
and if you don't,
I just got a point. That means you really agree with me.
Exactly.
You're pointing right at my face.
if you don't and you're just all over the place and you're not paying attention, you're not looking at the conductor, you're not listening.
You're in your own selfish world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now we're not doing this together. Now you're just doing whatever the hell you want to do and I'm over here playing these
Well,
notes.
we should just leave. And let
Why are
you...
we even here? You're doing this on your own. You don't need us.
And what percentage, if you just had to guess, how many do you think are respectful?
I think very few. A lot of singers just get excited that they get to sing in front of an
And
orchestra.
they're nervous.
And they're nervous. They haven't really done it before. Sometimes an orchestra is a novelty to a lot of singers.
And in their defense, if it doesn't work out, no one's going like, the oboist sucked tonight. They're going to say the singer sucked.
Yeah.
You are carrying the weight of the whole performance.
Yes, but the weight becomes a hell of a lot lighter when you know it's not just you.
Right.
When you say you wanted to connect, that's your main goal when
Yeah.
you're up there. Did you feel like when you were younger, you had a hard time connecting outside of that realm? Was it an escape? I mean, it doesn't seem like it because you're easy to talk to, but I don't know if you were introverted or shy and that was your outlet.
I wasn't shy. I was very bossy.
Yeah.
Baby boss.
Yes.
So
I
is
like
Monica.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was very bossy. I knew exactly what I needed to do and what I wanted. And if I didn't like something, I was the worst version of a Capricorn that could exist.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
You have some Virgo in you too. I'm
Probably.
feeling, yeah.
I would just say what I thought. And
You and I would have been
sometimes that
dangerous.
would not
Be nice.
It would not be nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't a mean kid. I just was really honest all the time.
Yeah. Can I defend us for a second?
Yes.
So it's an easy mix up. What I value the most is the truth.
Please.
And I prefer an inconvenient truth than I do a flowery lie.
Just don't do it to me.
But I have to acknowledge for other people, that's not the case.
Yeah.
They're not interested in that. And that's also fair.
Because
Yeah.
it depends on where you're coming from. You have that, Dax has that hang up, I guess I'll
Go
call
ahead,
it,
call
or
it a
obsession
hang-up.
or whatever.
Character defect.
No, it's not a defect, but because you were told things that weren't true and
I
you
felt like
had
there's
to
a lot of
figure it
deception.
out.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to figure out what was true and what wasn't true. And so you seek the truth. So it comes from somewhere, that need.
Yeah,
So
we're
all
blaming
just- we're
January,
all
but
just-
maybe there's more.
Yeah, I think it might be a little more than January.
Yeah.
Because we're all doing that. The best way to survive
Yeah.
in the world. And so why truth for you?
I think it comes from my own past and my history with my dad and all of those things. Maybe feeling a little lied to in that expectation of a parent and
Sure.
not getting it.
Do you have this chip on your shoulder? Do you remember being young and them telling you some kid safe thing that you saw right through and it felt so disrespectful? Like, I know what's going on and you're trying to fool me. Did you have that sense of like, you're treating me too young? I know what's going
sometimes. I was a clever kid, so I didn't necessarily need much babying. So when a person did baby me, and it still pisses me off
on. Oh,
now.
how sweet of you.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
Please don't call me cute. I haven't been cute in a long time.
Well, it depends what your association with the word
Definition.
cute is.
A small squirrel, cute. My dogs, who are 5 pounds and 8 pounds, cute.
Vulnerable, too.
Vulnerable. You know, some babies, cute.
Yes.
Do you think that's a small person complex thing?
I think it's a small person complex thing to other people. I know I'm short.
Yeah,
I'm very
same.
aware of being a small 5'1" person. But it's when people think because you're small, you're also very young and dumb. The two things don't go together just because I'm small.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm good.
I have that too. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't underestimate
Please.
this. But then I think sometimes I'm too critical or harsh or
Right.
you need to respect me.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you
I
swing?
try not to swing. When someone's like, you look so much bigger on stage, I understand what that means. I think if you'd told me that 10 years ago, I would have been like, what do you mean? But now I understand what you mean by someone's presence when they're in performance mode as opposed to when you meet them. They're two different things. So the look of someone changes when they're in their sort of element.
Yes. Oh,
They
yes.
do seem bigger. You can't help it. And that's what happens. So I totally understand what that means.
This is all very comedic, though, because that's your bag. That's what you were handed, and that's what you're dealing with. So mine is universally when I meet someone in real life, they go, oh my God, you're so much bigger in real life. So weirdly, I'm so much
get the
bigger in real
opposite.
life than they see me on screen. So if I wanted, if
Wow.
I'm in the mood, I could go like, I'm not powerful on screen, or I'm not
Right,
deliberate.
right,
I
right,
could
right.
let that be a whole thing. If you choose, you could really take it personal or
Yeah.
something's going on. And what's really complicates it all, not for me as much, because I am given the best benefit of the doubt that a human on planet Earth could be given. I'm a tall white dude. But if I'm short and black and British, how am I to know what's actually at play here? Is it just normal humanness? Or is it some kind of bigotry? What's happening?
It's hard to
The
know.
thing is, it's very hard to know. And at any point, it could be either one of those things.
Yes.
Or all of it.
Yeah. Because sometimes it is, you're so sweet. Oh my goodness. I didn't expect you to be.
You're so sweet, or you're so articulate, or you're so
I'm
smart.
sure you, yeah.
I mean, these are very
You're
dog
so well
whistly.
spoken. Oh my God. I love the way you speak. How else am I supposed to speak?
But what's
what were you
tricky,
expecting?
here's what's tricky. There's the historical context of that comment. Basically, what I'm saying is I was expecting you to sound dumb. Yet, you do speak very appealingly.
Yes.
Objectively. Again, how
Aluminium.
are you to know what the hell's going on?
I like to think I'm somewhat discerning, and you can tell by the way someone says something and the intention behind it. I think you can always sense it through the way a person approaches you and what they're trying to say and the context through which they say it. I also just try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. If I was to run around going, what are you trying to say? The whole time, I would be exhausted. And some of this is exhausting as it is.
It's a pick your battles.
This is not the fight I want to even get into. And sometimes it's just yeah, Thank you so much.
Right.
I think the real move is to just file all of it into that's their stuff.
Yeah, not
and it's
mine.
not my stuff. So my little thing is I'd say at least half the people that come up to me in public, they have come up to me to say, hey, I love your wife. And I go, oh yeah, me too. I don't really know what else to say. You just flagged me down to like, I guess, carry that message onto her. But the truth is, many of those people, they don't know what to say. And people are coming up to Kristen saying, I love your husband. Now, she is objectively more famous than me. So I could let that lower my self-esteem. Or I could go like, oh yeah, people say it to her too. None of it means anything. They're
What they
panicked.
actually want to say is, I think you're great. And I watch your shows.
And I know what
And
about
they know
you.
what about you. And they want to have a whole conversation and nothing comes out.
Yes,
But
right.
I love your wife.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's all fine. And at some point, you just have to make a decision for yourself. It's like, well, this could continue to rattle me, or I could enjoy my life.
Yeah.
But if you're a justice warrior like I am, not in the popular sense, but if there's an injustice, I'm running towards.
I'm telling you, this is Capricorn shit.
It is,
I
right?
swear to
I
God,
just
it's
won't
Capricorn
stand
shit.
for it.
It really is. Because I have
But
the
you
same
suffer
thing.
from it. I suffer from it. The
Yeah.
person doesn't suffer from it.
No. They go home afterwards. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, that was good.
That was a great interaction.
great.
And what they probably want to really say, and they're not even sure how to say it, is I'm short circuiting. You're a person that's
Right.
on my TV that's now in 3 dimension.
It's a complete collapse of reality for them.
I
Yes.
think a more generous take is that they are actually saying, I've invested part of my life in your life. I know about you. I know you have a wife and I really like her too. And I find you interesting enough that I've given you
Yeah.
my time. That's really what they're trying to say, but then that's what comes out. But I do want to say that I am grateful that you, Dax, just said you recognize that as a tall, white, straight man. Yeah, I added that.
You don't know all my stuff.
That you can't really imagine what it's like to be in that other position, because I have heard people say like, they're just being nice. And I'm like, you haven't had 37 years of practice to know when someone's being nice and when someone's
being-
not.
yeah.
I think it's just great to acknowledge maybe you can't know.
I wonder if there's a world in which you just like ask the question.
Yeah, are you a racist asshole?
Yeah. Are you being condescending or are you watch them short circuit?
I don't think I was ever going to admit this out loud. I only told a single person. I knew Monica would be mad at me. I told Eric because he's our shittiest friend, and I knew he would maybe agree with this.
Now we're telling the world.
Now I'm going to tell
That's
the world.
fun.
Okay.
I was not proud of this, but this did happen. I'm at this burger joint down the street for the win. I love it. I'm there by myself. I'm eating a hamburger. There's a man and his wife and 2 kind of late teens kids. And the man leans over and he goes, I love your wife's commercials. It's cool they let you be in them.
So
And I'm like,
rude. So rude.
I take like 4 or 5 seconds and I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he just said. Maybe a minute goes by and I go, hey, did you mean to sound like a dick when you said that to me? Or did you just mess up your delivery?
Right.
And he goes, what? And I go, well, you said that my wife lets me be in her commercials that I wrote. And I just don't know. Do you realize how that sounded? Or did you just get nervous? And then he kind of panicked and he goes, yeah, we just love all the work you guys do with mental health. I was like, oh, fuck,
Oh
no.
my God.
He doesn't know what to do.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And then, y'all, we continue to sit there for another 15 minutes and finish our hamburgers.
You
in
were
silence.
with this person?
I was by myself sitting directly next to the guy. He wasn't even a foot from me.
You'd think he would move. Bruce.
But there is something in the asking that made him have to think about it.
Yeah.
What he said was rude.
Yes.
I've left out a part. I considered for a moment, he might be trying to make a joke. He might know that's obviously an insult. And he's just being familiar with me because he knows me. And maybe a buddy of mine would say that from
Yeah.
Detroit. And I think I said, were you meaning to be a dick or were you trying to be funny?
Yes.
To which he didn't answer. He said, I like the work you guys do with mental health.
I will say that that is a really simple question
It
to ask.
is.
And it's actually the simple answer, yes or no. It's a yes or no answer. And I don't think he knew the answer.
I don't think so either.
I think he said a joke that he realized could be an insult as well, but thought it was like okay to say
Funny.
because he felt familiar.
And by the time I was asking him, he's already hearing the fight he's having with his wife on the ride home where she's like, why do you have to fucking open your mouth? I'm him in a lot of situations.
I understand that there are people who short circuit and they just don't know what to say. And sometimes some of the sweetest interactions come out of that. My favorite types of those interactions are those where they just say, I don't know what to say. And I have no words, but you're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get it.
yeah.
Well, that
we can
sentence
all
weirdly
relate to that.
conveys more emotion than
Exactly.
any other one.
Exactly. I'm really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say. because it's so honest, it's so endearing, and it's so real. There are times when you're like, I don't know what to say here, but I know that this is a really cool moment and I'm glad you're here.
And I'm scared
And I'm
right now.
scared because I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's an honest emotional reaction. The flip side of that is someone saying something and they say it in the wrong way. And if you look closely enough, you'll see it in their faces that, oh my God, what did I just say?
Yes.
Immediately you'll see it. But if that doesn't show up at all, then it's, oh, I said the best thing in the world. And then it's like, did you mean to hurt my feelings?
Yeah.
Or was that just a moment of you trying to connect?
That's a little bit better of a way to phrase it instead of were you trying to be a dick?
How mad are you at me out of 10?
I'm not. I'm not mad. But I do think maybe, oh, did you mean to hurt my feelings or were you just trying to be
that would have
funny?
been apex vulnerability.
That's the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's one answer.
There's one answer. You know, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, or I just wanted to connect. I'm so sorry. That came
Yeah.
out wrong.
I should have let the whole thing slide. I don't think anything productive came out of it. Other than I came home and I was
They
like,
did
I
have
got
to think about
But
a
yeah.
thing, and maybe they won't go to the next person and do
say something like that.
It's wild. Before you guys came up, we were talking about fame, and newer celebrities are pushing back on fame.
the social contract of it all.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
building a bigger boundary, and I think it's very interesting.
Well, I imagine you are dealing with something different than me. Well, now currently what we deal with, but prior to this show,
Yes.
when I was just an actor, occasionally people were moved by what I did on Parenthood. They laughed a lot at stuff I did. They didn't have cathartic emotional breakthroughs. You know, your lane in particular, I think, is going to warrant an asymmetric connection where it's like you really connected with my soul and opened up something, and I don't even know what to do with this. We have it from the show. I just did a bunch of meet and greets for my beer company, and I met so many fucking beautiful listeners of the show. And they're saying like, my brother OD'd, or I've repaired my relationship with my parents. They were addicts, you know, this kind of stuff. And I'm presuming that's the level of connection people are having with you. And I love it, cherish it, feel so lucky to be receiving it. And it's very emotionally exhausting.
Yeah, I think for me, that particular kind of connection has been happening since The Color Purple, really and truly. So that kind of cathartic release and people's stories and people coming together, breakups, the stories of abuse, those things have come up and people have been really open with me about the things they've been going through because of these women that I've been able to play and the stories that we get to tell. And during my concerts as well, people come together. There's something that happens in these spaces. I'm really grateful that that is what people experience with me. But I do have to be like,
Protective.
yeah, because otherwise I'll just arms open wide all day.
I think it's like when someone writes a cancer survival memoir that's popular. Inevitably, what you're going to hear when you meet people who loved it is their cancer journey or their parents' cancer journey, which is totally appropriate, but also it's a lot.
You can't carry
yeah.
all those
Yeah.
people's...
And it's very hard not to, because I actually care. Every time someone takes the time to tell me a story, I'm listening. I feel their feelings, because there's nothing worse than trying to tell someone a story and them not even bothering to like look you in the face.
No, then you're invisible.
And I never want anyone to feel like that with me. So I take a lot of time to speak with people and be with people after shows, and I can be there for like an hour and just be there with people.
No, your only solution is to not leave your house.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
So after those shows, after those performances, whenever I've had all of that, outside of it, I have to find spaces for me to just be like me, find places where I could be meditative. And for me, running or walking gives me space to just like, I'm just going to think, I'm going to reconfigure my brain, I'm going to free up some space for myself, because it's really the only way I can do it.
I remember being depressed in my 20s, living in Santa Monica and just kind of hopeless. And I'd be like, just walk out your door and just walk. And I'd walk like 5 miles. And I get back, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can keep going. What a magical thing to walk.
It's so great. It has really helped me. I went to Greece and I filmed a little film called Drift, and that was really terrifying and hard and heartbreaking, the whole lot. And what I would do every day before we would start filming is either run or walk miles. And it would just sort of reset everything. The practice has just never changed.
That's great.
At some point for your mental health, you're going to have to like do some silly something.
Some silly something.
Yeah, because Drift, Harriet, fucking Color Purple, like
a
you're kind of
silly
living.
project.
if we think about it, even Wicked isn't really a silly project. It's not a silly project
you're
at
getting
all.
your ass kicked.
Yeah, I'm pulling out everything from the depth of me. I think on the outside, people go, oh, it's fun. And then they get in and they're like, what?
What is great about Wicked, and again, I can't believe I'd never seen the musical, but I didn't know anything about the story, which
I
was
love.
great.
I really appreciate people who have not seen it at all and are coming to the movie fresh.
Can I tell you, I went back to our interview with Adina, and she told this crazy story. You know, she got really hurt on stage one
Yes,
time, and then they had to rush her to the hospital. And she was saying this in the interview, and like, I'm all green. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. She can't really be all green.
Oh, you didn't know
I
that?
didn't know. I didn't even know
God.
she was all green in that.
Yeah.
And then I saw you, and I was like, oh my God, now that story makes sense. She was in the ER completely green.
Green.
That's fucking nuts.
In her outfit.
Oh, gosh.
So funny.
And it's such a great, I don't want to call it a trope, that feels dismissive, but it's a great architecture to watch someone just fucking take it on the chin. It's gut wrenching. I hate it, especially the Justice Warrior me. I want you to go like, hey, fuck all y'all. I'm better than all y'all. I'm maddened by it. And it's so sticky and good and great story.
We got to go see it in a theater and it was so exciting. And I saw the play many years ago. I guess I forgot the whole thing. It started and I was like, what? I don't remember any of this. And then we were with a friend and she went to the bathroom and she came back and I was like, this movie is so sad. I hate what is happening to her.
Right.
You do such a good job of not playing it with pity,
No.
but you feel for that. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm her. I was like, so, I was like, I'm her and I hate this for everybody, especially me. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
You're so good in it.
Thank you. But I do have to do something silly at some point. I don't know what the
Yes.
silly thing is. I just did a really cool, there is silliness in it and I had a great time doing it. We did an episode of Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne and Ryan Johnson, and I had the best time doing it. And there is a lot of silliness. I got to use my funny bone there.
Yeah.
But I think drama's always going to follow me. I think the dramatic bone is always going to be there. There's always going to be heart in something.
This is not a popular opinion that I have, but I
Yes.
have it. And I don't know where this comes from in me, but I'm a white trash kid and I got to grow up and be free of that. And I don't have to tell the story of every socially and financially disenfranchised person. And I have always felt a little bit of sympathy. If you're famous and you're black, there feels like some obligation. Like you can't not be political. That's just not on the table for you.
Right.
And although I think it's great to pursue those things, I also think it's yet another thing that's not fair about the whole experience. You finally transcended this, and now you also need to be a social leader for me. And for you, I imagine like telling these stories. Do you feel some obligation? Like, yeah, I'm the best person to tell the Color Purple story. I'm obliged to do so.
There is a part of me that is like, yes, sometimes I want to just do some great stuff that doesn't have anything to do with the politics of me being a black queer woman.
Fashionista.
I try. But I don't know if I have that choice. And so I kind of just accept it and try my very, very best to pick the things that have the widest view of what humanness looks like. I want to dance in the gray area always. I'm not particularly interested in characters that are only liked. I'm not particularly interested in characters that are just heroes. I want the complicated, icky space.
The Gary Oldman career.
I want that. I want to be able to do all of those things and I want it to be okay. I have less worry about it than often sometimes studios and streamers do. They're like, oh, but what makes her redeemable? Do we like her? And I'm always like, I don't know if the character cares if you like her or not.
Also,
and I think
take
that's
a look
okay.
at Sopranos.
Yeah.
The most successful
Nobody
show
asked
ever.
if Tony Soprano is likable. We just watch it. Nobody asked if American Psycho was going to be liked. I think it's okay if we can get those kinds of characters where the face is mine. We'll all be okay if we start really diving into those spaces and not being like, it's because she's black. It's just because she's human and she has darkness and light in her.
That's what's kind of clever about Wicked is she's green.
Yeah. It's all the difference that a person can be.
Yeah.
I loved the idea of being able to play her because there was no requirement for me to play her as just good or perfect the entire time. She makes mistakes. She fucks up. She gets it wrong.
Well, Ariana is perfect.
Well,
But we immediately don't like that.
And that's the thing. They're both fallible beings.
Yeah.
They're both fallible humans. They rub up against each other. They're not great with each other either. It's not like Galinda's horrible and Elphaba's doesn't give it back. They give it to each other. They're mean to each other for a long time. They say horrid things to each other until they realize, oh, we feel just as outcast as each other in spaces. Yours is more obvious. Mine is not. I'm trying to live up to something that is beyond me, and I can't get to a place that you are in, and I'm in the difference my entire life. So the experience of the world is very, very different.
Well, the most important thing is neither's thriving from the identity they've taken on.
Because neither one of them at the beginning actually take on who they're meant to be. It takes them having to be like, this could be to my complete destruction, but I have got to be myself because it's the only way that I can actually fully exist. And that's when shit really takes off.
Yeah. Oh my God, so good. We love John Chu. We've known John forever. He's the director.
Truly is one of the most incredible people on the planet. Just a good human being. Watching him work is really fun. He's so excited by it. And he's like finding things at the same time we're finding things, and then the ideas keep going back and forth. Should we try this? Do you want to try it one more time? And it's just so thrilling the entire time.
Ooh.
And this is what it's like for months and months on end.
year.
And the thing is, he won't say he's tired. I'll be like, John, you're tired. I need you to sit down. You need to take a break. Have you had something to eat? What are you eating? This is trash. I'm going to get you some vegetables and some like nuts. Let's get you some sugar-free sweets instead of having like all that sugar because it's not going to help. He's the kind of person that you want to be well because he wants you to be well. He's creating this atmosphere that is so infectious. And it sounds really cliche and very facetious, but it's not. That's how we did this. And that's not to say that it was easy. It's just to say that because the atmosphere was set up in the right way, the things that were difficult were pleasurable at the same time. You could actually enjoy doing the hard work.
When you're a carpenter and you're building a house, it's hard.
Yes.
But is it rewarding.
Yes.
It's like it's all going right.
Exactly.
And it's so rewarding.
When people see the movie, it is shocking what he's done.
I mean,
like, it is incredible.
Yeah, visually, choreography.
Oh my God. I was like, how did he do this? How did he think this? It's incredible. But I can imagine because there's so many moving parts, it'd be easiest for him to just be tough.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was fun and engaging is a big feat.
And really caring, because he asked me at the very beginning whether I wanted to do the makeup or whether I wanted to do CGI. There was a question. It was like, so here's the deal, Cyn. If you do this makeup, it's going to add 3 hours to your call time every day. And it's going to be hard to do that because these are long days and you're going to add to it.
I'm more worried about taking it off. Putting it on's one thing.
Taking it off took an extra hour and a half.
And is that shit bad for your skin?
You know what? My skin was in the best.
So you said yes.
I said, yeah.
Why did you say yes? You wanted to look in the mirror and
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
I didn't want to leave my trailer and have like dots on my face.
Can I see your hands? I couldn't tell if it was your nails were so long, if you were wearing some kind of hand thing.
No, my nails were done.
And
for
nothing
it.
was happening with your hands.
Nothing was happening with my hands. I have very long fingers.
Yeah.
Very long fingers.
Yeah.
This is very
My nails
nice.
are very long right now.
Can I ask you a really crazy question? It's
Yeah.
inappropriate.
Go on.
When you're wiping your butt.
I knew you would ask that question.
I
get
know, but
asked
everyone
thinks
all the
it,
time.
no, everyone's afraid to
uses
ask it.
Because no one's afraid to ask it.
Oh, is everyone
Everybody
asking that?
Everybody asks that
All
question.
girls, though?
No, everybody asks that question.
Okay. Yeah.
Very cliche.
And my answer is nobody uses just their fingers to wipe their backside. You use tissue.
Oh, sure.
Correct. And you wipe.
Yeah. I guess my question is, does the tissue go on the tip of the fingernails or do you try to get the tissue on the
Pads of the
Okay,
fingers.
great. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, okay. And then
believe
you're just
you've been
feeling a
asked
little
this
tickle
many
of the nails on your crack of your butt sometimes?
No, because the tissue's there. You don't feel
Okay, so
none
you're
of
covered.
that.
I wonder, okay, what I would do if I were you
Oh, boy.
is I would wrap my whole, I'd make a mitten.
I fold.
Okay.
Oh, you're a folder.
Yeah.
I bunch.
Now, are you offended by that question? Or are you like, I get it?
Well, I
You're
get
annoyed
it.
by it,
I'm annoyed by
understandably.
it. I'm like, come on, guys. But I get it. But it's also like, I'm a functioning adult and I've
I
never
know.
walked around smelling like, you know,
No one thinks that. In fact, everyone thinks you smell so good. It begs
That's what
the
I'm
question, how
saying.
are you wiping your tush?
very well.
They're saying what they're saying when they're asking is I would never be able to wipe properly. It's a problem with them.
That's
I'm
the problem with
afraid.
them. And here's the the thing. There are people who do not have nails who need to check how they're
Big
wiping.
time.
I agree.
Big
You know what
time.
I'm
This
saying?
isn't a pass on everyone without nails.
This is what
by
I'm saying.
Any stretch. So everyone's asking that question.
Everyone's asking that question.
Wow, I kind of thought everyone would think that, but not be bold.
No,
enough.
people are bold. They
I knew
are.
you could handle it. I knew you could
People are
hash it
always
out.
like, how do you get anything done with those nails? And I'm like, I mean, I'm here.
Yeah, I got here somehow.
I'm dressed.
I love them. I was just thinking of the ergonomics
They
in that
are really
exact
good.
situation.
Thank you so much.
But that's
But
fine.
yeah, because the nails would change with the scene. Sometimes you would shoot two different things in one day, so the nails will change in the middle of the day.
Can we go back in time for a second?
Yeah,
You originally went to University of East London.
that's right.
And you were majoring in psychology of music or
Yeah,
music
music
psychology.
psychology, yeah.
What is music psychology?
It is the study of the way in which music affects the psychological state of a person based on where they live, their social
Whoa.
standing. What's the word I'm looking for? Based on like elitism.
Socioeconomic standing.
Status.
Yeah.
Status. And then when you get down to the fine points of it, what is within music itself. So the way in which the note structures can affect the way a person hears the music and what it does to a person's mood and a person's psyche. So this is sort of layman's terms. If you hear a song in a minor key and the lyrics happen to be sad or without lyrics, it tends to evoke a sad emotion. Or if you hear music with a major key, even if the lyrics are sad, you will evoke a happy mood.
Yeah.
There's a song, and I hate to pick this, but I pick it because it's the one thing on my mind and she's with me all the time. A song called One Last Time that Ariana Grande has. One last time, I need to be the one who takes you home.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I was praying you
I
would
know, me
sing at
too,
least
me
for a
too, me
second, and you just did. So thank you.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
If you want to sing more at any point, let me know. Yeah.
But her version, which is the seminal version, is in a major key and it's up tempo. When you hear it, you don't realize that it's actually a heartbreak song. People dance.
Yeah.
Then there is a band called Third Story who changed the key and took the tempo right down. And now it becomes a
And now
heartbreak
people
song.
are crying.
And now you make people cry.
Whoa, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
It is. And do you find there's two different camps of people? So Monica and I are in different camps. I'm obsessed with music. It's a huge part of my
too.
life. But it's generally the music. The singing, sure. It's
Yes.
not the lyrics for me.
Yes.
And so Monica's heavily driven by lyrics. I have even shared a couple songs with Monica, and she'll be like, well, this song's a real bummer. And I'm like, it is? And then I look, oh, yeah, it's kind of about
Look at
battered.
the words.
Right.
And I've completely missed it.
I'm the camp that sits right in between.
Yes,
Because
you
I
should.
think both of those things have inherent value. Let's take Mozart's Lacrimosa. Nobody knows what those lyrics are. Lacrimosa means to cry, but you wouldn't know that unless you go and look up the lyrics and you know Latin,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
But you know that the music itself is deeply sad.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. That's what it sounds like. So it's sad.
You know you're sad.
But the lyrics, though they mean to cry, it is actually about forgiveness in a way, you know? So it's actually not a sad song necessarily,
It's a double trick.
which is why I'm in both camps.
Yeah.
Because even the happier song can actually mean something very, very different. We can dance when we're happy. We can dance when we're sad. Both have value. Like I'll listen to the lyrics all day long, but sometimes I just want to hear the music. Sometimes it's the music that moves me.
Yeah. One of the most interesting things about music to me, this was what I studied in college, which is cultural anthropology. I'll be in other countries and I'm listening to the music that everybody loves. And I'm like, how on earth do they like this music?
Right.
And it's so cultural. Largely when I'm in Mexico and I hear that it is all German inspired, their musical genre in Mexico is polka dry.
Yes.
So the bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum 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 bum. And I go like, yeah, if I grew up in Mexico, I
Then
would
that's
love
what you're
this
hearing,
music.
of course, it's
And that
part of
is
you.
fascinating.
Yeah.
You think music's somehow objective to some degree, and it's not.
I think it's what's really interesting about what's happening with, there's a music called Afrobeats, which is happening right now. And it seems to be growing tentacles and spreading out everywhere. Whereas before, I grew up with it and it's developed and it evolves and it changes ever so much. So it's become a little bit popularized. But if you go back 50 years, the rhythms are still very similar. The tonal qualities are still very similar. So you still hear the same types of notation, but lyrically it becomes different. And the way we've put it together has become different. And young people have started to listen to it. That was why I was interested in this particular subject. But I think I was too early for it. I needed to go and do the thing I'm meant to do, which is this.
Because you bailed, right?
I didn't even go to RADA straight away. I went to like a young actors company program at a local theatre because I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't think this is right for me. So I left and I went to this young actors company. And at the young actors company, I use the word forced fondly to go and study at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Yeah.
And I say it because this wonderful mentor of mine would not allow me to do this particular program unless I signed up for an audition.
Wow.
She blackmailed you.
Yeah, she was like, you sign up for an audition, you come to this. You don't, you can't. And I was like,
Good for her.
fine. Begrudgingly signed in to do an audition thinking this will be short-lived. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get in. We're cool.
Really quick, why didn't you want to go there?
There was no point because I was not going to get in.
Okay, there we go.
I was not going to
You're
get
like,
in.
I'm just
Yeah,
asking
yeah,
to
yeah.
get rejected.
You mean me, a girl from Southwest London who moved to East London is now going to go to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts? In what world? That's a nonsense idea.
Yeah.
No one's ever flagged it for me before, so why on earth? It's not going to happen. And then I
And it
got
happened.
in.
Wow.
And did you like it immediately? Because you're now the vice president? What does that mean?
You are?
Is that a ceremonial position?
no.
How on earth do you have time to be a
That's
vice president of a fucking college? This is the stupidest thing I've ever
ridiculous.
heard.
Oh my God.
It's so, I swear to you, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Because here's the thing, my time at RADA was not easy. I was the oddball. I was a true East London girl who just was myself. And I was like the one girl who really loved music. And like I left, I was going to do a backing vocal gig before I came to the school that was going to pay for the school, and they said no. I was doing gigs at night and I was the only person that was doing that kind of thing in this school. So I already had figured out my jobs.
This is John Batiste too. Do you remember when he's at Juilliard and he wants to be performing
This
with his...
is for people who are in America and don't know. It is Juilliard, basically.
Yes,
It's
correct.
the same
Yeah, it's the
level.
same space, the same level.
It had Royal in the title, and I assume that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
might have some sort of connection.
I think they have a a little connection. If not, I'm trying to make it happen.
Ooh,
Well,
we
that
like
should be one of your tasks as vice
As
president.
vice president.
I've given it to myself. I think that might be a really good idea. Like exchange studenting, maybe kind of thing.
Sure. Some professor swaps.
Maybe.
Everyone wants 6
No, I
months
would-
in London.
Here's the thing. I would go to Juilliard and sit and chat with the students because I do actually teach at RADA.
You do.
Wow, you currently teach?
I currently teach.
Oh my
what
God.
in the world?
Yeah.
You're going to kill yourself.
Dax
need
is
to-
worried
It's
about
been
your
insane.
time. Are you the type that'll just run yourself into the ground?
I try not to, but I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen this year.
This is the year
It's a lot.
for your collapse.
I do think it's going to happen because there's just like a lot going on. And I'm actively trying to work at RADA and do the things I need to do because I don't believe in taking on a title if you're actually not going to do the work. I vehemently detest that. I don't want to be the vice president just because
Ceremonial.
I'm not
Yeah,
interested.
yeah.
And I know that there's stuff to be done. And I also love working with the students at RADA. And I try and get there every year for at least a week intensive workshop with the third year students. What I want to do is meet them in the first year, have a little time with them in the second, and then have the intensive in the third. So there is something that they work with throughout. They're not just meeting me the first time in the third year. But now they'll see me more often because, well, I'm there.
I want to ask you a
the
very
vice president. So
inappropriate question.
go
Were you in love with any of your teachers?
in love as in love.
Crushes?
Like, well, yeah, okay.
I mean, I was
We
in
can
love with one of mine.
Yeah, Monica was in love with one of her teachers.
Yes.
Still pines for
Yeah,
Covey.
I don't know what he's up to these days, but boy, was he attractive and so smart.
Did you have any crushes on your teachers?
I don't think so.
You didn't. That's fair. I didn't have any on mine either.
No.
Okay.
Theater space is very intimate, though.
I was only going to ask, like, if I was teaching at 37 at a college, I think I would be mildly like, oh, Jesus, does this person have a crush on me? Because there's some weird magic to the whole thing.
I'm going to ignore any of it.
Yes.
That's
I'm going to be
smart.
like, don't know, don't want to know.
Not paying attention
Don't
to
tell
that.
me.
Oh, you have me confused with a human. I am an acting teaching robot.
I'm also aware of what I'm walking into the
I think I'd
school
fall in
with.
love with you.
Yeah, no, you are.
Yeah, I
coming
think
in-
I would.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know that people would fall in love with me as in me. I think they're falling in love with the idea.
But aren't people always falling in love with the idea of the other person?
I guess so.
We
Yeah.
fight about this all.
I think so.
the time.
I think
Yeah.
people fall in love with the idea of a person until they allow
Live.
themselves to fall in love with the actual person.
Yeah, with great luck.
Yes.
You end up falling in love with the real person. But more often, you go, oh, no, this whole thing was
But
a
then
projection.
if you're on the other side of it, if you're Cynthia, then you're like, oh, this person's in love with me. And then you run the risk of them finding out about the real you and then being like,
Right.
oh, I'm not interested in that.
But she'll be doing the same to that person because that person would have captivated some other fantasy and imagination.
Right.
So it would be complimentary, I
But
think.
when it comes to the school of it all, I'm
Yeah,
here to
that's
teach
it.
you and
Yeah.
take you through
wasn't a-
and help you. You know
I
what
shouldn't
I
have
mean?
even asked you that question. You're in a compromised position as
She's
the
the
dean
vice
of this school. I
president.
know.
I would
she could be-
never. I'm also aware of what I walk in the room with. I know that there's a lot, and I think I'm getting used to what that even is.
I'm going to suggest someone more likely would think they're in love with you, but what they're in love with is they want to be you. You'd be very aspirational. It's like, I want to be an empowered woman who's got a Tony and a Grammy. And so you would represent some kind of fantasy wish fulfillment. And that could be misinterpreted as love
Yeah.
as well.
And the thing is, I would say to that person, you do not want to be me. You want to be the best version of yourself. You don't know if you want to do all the things or go through all the things I've already been through. My shit's made for me.
But when you're at that age, you
can't
really,
tell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
just
hard.
like, I'm
It's
looking
hard.
at Nicolas Cage
And I
I'm
want to
like,
be that. I think for me, in the perfect world, I think I would be like the love child of Cicely Tyson and Barbara Streisand.
who's Cicely Tyson?
Yeah,
I'm so
Cicely
sorry.
Tyson?
I'm very sorry. With all apologies.
Okay.
You don't either?
Okay.
Thank fucking God. I was sure it was a white guy thing.
I was
No.
going to leave you out.
You got to look her up. She passed away a few years ago at like the age of 94, I think it was.
Oh, that's good.
96? She made it to 96.
What a quitter. She almost made it to 100.
We really wanted
Yeah.
her to get to 100. And she was strong. She was one of the most incredible actresses ever.
British?
American.
Oh.
And she shaved her head just like me.
Ah.
I read her autobiography. It's the most fascinating thing. She had a torrid relationship with Miles
Dizzy.
Davis.
Oh, that's a wild ride.
She tells you all about that. She was in Sounder. She was in Roots. Most people probably know her best for How to Get Away with Murder. She was Annalise Keating's mother.
Oh.
But she's just brilliant. The way she used her hair as a statement constantly throughout her life was just really inspiring. So whether it was doing Bantu knots or getting it cornrowed or shaving it off or leaving it as an afro, there's a really beautiful image of her when she is nominated, I think for Sounder for the Oscar, where she goes with like flowers in her hair. She's special, special, special. So that combination of her and Barbara Streisand I picked because of the Renaissance woman effect that she has over her own life and the way in which she was able to translate music and song and acting and do all of this vast arena of things.
Yeah, she's one of our few. I always say this about Taylor Swift when people try to figure out what is the magic that's happening. For me, a big part seems like, at least through my little girl's eyes, is that she is a fully formed, self-created matriarchy. And I would argue Barbara was an early, like, created her own matriarchy
That's
world around herself.
Yeah.
I can see that as
It
inspirational.
seems like you are the combination of them, and especially Renaissance. You're the vice president.
You're an academic.
You're covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, leave some for the rest of us, bro. With all this said, how mentally prepared do you feel like you are for Wicked? Because I can't imagine you are.
I want to kid myself and be like, I'm really ready for it. I think in a way I am. But there's always the aspect that you have no idea what's coming. You can't know the future. I have no idea what this will be, full stop. But I think I'm open. That's as far as I can take myself. I'm open to the possibilities of what this might be. I'm very, very, very grateful for the chance to do something of this magnitude because it doesn't come along often.
No. I feel like I have some insight into what you're going to go through, which is I think this thing will be what Frozen was.
Yeah.
And I think you'll have parents for the next 5 years coming up and complaining to you that their kid will not stop listening to a certain song over and over and over again.
Right.
And then I think you'll have a lot of parents bringing over young children to meet you at the table, but the children have no fucking clue what's going on. They're like,
Right.
I don't
Well-
understand what you're telling me.
That's the part that's going to be different and harder, perhaps, because when it happens to Kristen, sometimes the kids are like, what? That's not her.
Elsa's
That's
a
a
cartoon.
person.
What are you
But
talking about?
You're
Or
a
Anna.
person.
Right.
And they're going to see you as a person.
Yeah.
Thank God you're not green.
I know, in real life.
You should
Yeah.
fuck around one time, just go out as green. When this thing really peaks, you should go set up
Can you
shop at a
imagine?
cheesecake
Oh my
factory. and
goodness. Can you imagine? Insane.
So I guess I have one remaining question about kind of how you got to this place, because we didn't talk about your childhood as much as I like to.
Yes.
How old were you when mom and dad got divorced?
Mom and dad didn't get
They weren't
divorced. They were
married.
never married.
They were never married.
But I was 16 when my dad decided not to be a part of my life.
How frequently were you seeing him?
Maybe 2 or 3 times a week. His choice. My mom was really, I think, kind.
And not talk shit about him to you?
Ever.
That's
Never.
so nice. My mom did that as well. And as you get older, don't you respect it even more?
I
Because now I'm
completely
like,
respect it.
it almost seems impossible.
Yeah, I honestly can't believe it. And gave him the space to come and visit if he wanted to. We would go over to his from time to time as well. She like really made the space for us if he wanted to build a relationship, and he just didn't.
Was he struggling with stuff?
No, I think he just was not set up to be a dad. I don't think it was his bag.
Right.
I read Jada Pinkett Smith's book, and there is a section in the book where she talks about her father, and it really clicked for me when I read this part. She said that there are some parents who are meant to be parents. They're meant to shepherd their children into the world, make sure that they are taken care of, and they are good with them. And there are other parents who are meant to literally get them here.
Yeah.
And that is it. And we can't forget that each parent is still a human being. They are a human being before they're a parent. And I'm okay. That made everything really clear for me. Now, it doesn't remove hurts and pain that I had been through and have worked to work through.
Does it materialize in relationships?
I think it did.
But you have your arms around it now.
But yeah, thank goodness for good therapists.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that shit really helps.
Were you generally attracted to people you had some subconscious notion that they were going to abandon you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Unavailable
Oh,
people.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how fucking generic it
Oh,
is? It's
yeah.
like, oh, what's the situation with this kid? Okay, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen in 12 years.
You know that they're predisposed to like actually go away at some point.
You sense it somehow. The second you're so hot for somebody, that's
Yeah,
your
something's
huge
wrong, yeah.
clue that there's some parental damage underneath of it.
That's correct.
Isn't that nuts?
It's ridiculous until you get your head around it and you get some control on what it is that you're actually looking for, what you're trying to fix in that. It just will keep going.
And do you agree? I had to go, oh, wow, I actually have to actively go the opposite direction of what I want.
I
got
think
to
so.
experiment with that.
Yeah, I had to be alone for a second. I have to figure out what the heck this is. What am I running away from? What do I want for myself? And also, I think I was using, for a small amount of time, my career as a conduit to like find a way to get him back.
Sure.
Almost.
Look what you've missed.
Look what you missed.
Yeah, it's a great engine.
Look what you gave up.
Look what you gave up. You're going to regret leaving this.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
What a great motivator that is.
It's fantastic until it doesn't work anymore.
That's right.
Until it leaves you empty and you're like, what am I actually doing this for? I've not done this for myself. And now I have to figure out how to do this for myself.
Well, I think one of the great tricks in life that everyone has to figure out is what got you to the party isn't what's going to keep you at the party. And it's so hard to accept that or believe in that.
Yeah. We got to try something else
You need
now.
a new fuel source
Yeah.
to
Let's
stay.
change direction, pivot. Let's go
Yeah.
somewhere
That
else
got
now.
you here. All blessings to this thing, but it's actually going to get you asked to leave.
Yeah.
So you seem to have the same. Kristen has a really, really in-depth knowledge of music and reading music and all the math that's associated with music. Where did you learn that? Did you learn that at Royal Academy?
I learned it at secondary school or high school.
You went to a Catholic school?
I did. So my music teacher there, Miss Rycroft, who is so awesome. No one really understood her, but I really got her. She would pretend to be like this curmudgeonly teacher who just didn't like people. But actually, she was the funniest, most brilliant, most kind teacher to me ever. She was like, oh, I have your number.
Right.
I know what you are. You are a musician. And I'm going to make sure that you're always a musician. I see you. I was like quickly accosted and I learned to play the clarinet. So I learned to read music that way. And then she got me a viola. So I started doing that too. And I can't play any of these anymore, but it meant that I could really actually read music. And I did music proficiency, all of that stuff, and did graded tests, the whole lot. Singing was happening in concert with all of that. They had a choir. I don't know how this happened. And I think it's because of Miss Rycroft. And strangely enough, my science teacher, Mr. Sappho J, who somehow put this together, we started singing with a big choir in the UK, and we would do like requiems every year. I loved doing them because of the big sound of all these voices
What's a
together.
requiem? My
So
apologies.
a requiem is a huge choral piece with all the voices, tenors, bass, soprano, alto, mezzo-soprano. And occasionally you'll have recitatives in between where they're like solo lines that would end up with big choral numbers. And usually it's a long piece written but separated by particular movements. We did Carmina Burana. And Carmina Burana, you wouldn't know the name, you would know the sound of Carmina Burana. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
We're going to pretend like we don't know it, so you just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. I bet if
Have
you
you
do 10
ever
more
watched,
measures,
have
I
you
might
ever
get it.
watched Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann version?
Love.
That musical big choral thing is that. And we did another piece called The Rutter Requiem by John Rutter. And that is one of my favorite pieces ever. But it contains a piece called Pie Jesu, and there are like 3 different Pie Jesus. But these are the pieces that we would do. That's how I learned about classical singing. And so she made me learn Schubert Lieder, the whole lot. So I expanded my classical taste in music at secondary school.
Wow.
Whilst running alongside with everything else and learning how my voice worked elsewhere and just my outside love of music anyways. And my mom is playing Aretha Franklin and Diana Ross in the car.
Erykah Badu.
Yeah, and I'm learning all of it.
How about
my
window
auntie.
seat? Can we sing window seat?
Have I got a window seat?
Don't want nobody next to me.
Oh.
I just wanna.
I love it.
I love Erykah Badu. Oh,
She's brilliant. She's one of the artists, singers that has gotten better and better and better as time has gone on. I just recently saw her in concert in London.
How late was she? Because I've seen her 4
She
times.
wasn't that late.
I don't believe you one
she
bit.
wasn't.
She wasn't.
She
Maybe she
wasn't
was still
late.
on American time.
She wasn't late. I think she was maybe like 20 minutes, 10 minutes or something. And she
wow.
was, yeah, it was
I've
like
waited 3 hours to
and
see
she
her,
was
and I didn't care.
on. It was amazing.
Yeah, good.
Puma came out as well. It was so good. There's an artist called Duran Bernard. He does her backing vocals, but he's an amazing vocalist on his own. He was out. It was amazing.
fun.
I went with my sister and my best friend. We had the best
Oh, wow.
time.
Yeah, she's a force.
Oh my gosh. She had her jewelry and her hat. She had these really cool trousers, pants that were like chaps actually, but had like teddy bears on them. It was just wild. The whole thing was wild.
Yeah.
I was obsessed. It was brilliant. But yeah, but that's how my proficiency for
Wow.
music, because I've had such a vast experience of it from loads of different sources onwards.
Now, you said the highlight is being in the stage and having that open line of communication with the audience.
Yes.
It's really happening. So I'm wondering the moment in the Requiem.
Yes.
Do you experience something in that insane mass
Yes.
of harmony that can compete with the
Yes.
other solo thing?
There's like 30 to 40 voices singing at once.
Yeah.
Or at the top of their voices.
Yeah. Whoa.
In harmony.
You gotta be like MDMA.
Oh
It's
my God.
transcendent.
There's nothing like it. And it's ringing in your ears, but you can feel it in the back of your head at the same time. It's like a short circuit. And sometimes it's what I feel when an orchestra is playing all together. There's nothing like it.
You do realize how lucky you are, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, really,
I'm
you're
also-
having an experience on planet Earth that really very few people can ever touch.
My experience is sort of enhanced by the fact that I experience synesthesia. So I see color.
You have that.
I see color when I hear music. So for me, it's like a
You're on acid.
full sensory thing.
Yes. We understand that we are story creatures. We understand that we passed on our culture and our
Yes.
knowledge through story. We're starting to really understand it neurologically, but we haven't really cracked what music
No,
is.
no. You can talk about the science all day long and what it is and sound waves and all of that. But actually, we can't really crack the code on why it affects people the way it does. We can't crack how this piece connects with that person but doesn't connect with this person. Why do we all understand this particular language? We might speak it differently, but there are a finite amount of notes.
My uncle who went to Juilliard, who was a trumpet player, he told me, yeah, mathematically, every single song's already been written.
Yes.
There'll never be
There's
a new
no
piece of
new-
music. That's so wild.
The notes are the same. It's just how we experience it. Why do we experience it like that?
I think part of it is it seemingly has absolutely no purpose.
Right. but it does.
It does.
The most important purpose.
But it seems like a weird thing for a human to do at any given time.
Right.
And there's something, I think, just starting with that premise, which is like, this serves no purpose, is interesting. So we know we're doing it for some other calling. It's like the closest we have to touching something kind of mystical.
I believe that. This might sound like the nerdiest thing I've ever said, but my favorite scale is chromatic.
Say it again.
All the notes in between,
Oh,
a chromatic
wow.
scale.
A chromatic scale.
Yeah, because it leaves none of the notes out.
Ooh. But it's not just humans. Animals sing.
Yes, they do.
which is
Birds.
why- yeah. And
They won't
and
shut
wolves.
the fuck up. Whales. Whale
Whales,
songs.
they're all tonal. Notes and music, however you experience it, it's the one thing that connects every single being on the planet. It's the one thing we all have in common.
And you're doing it at like the apex level.
Lucky girl.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
could
for saying
not
that.
put too fine a point on how great Wicked is. It's outrageous.
Thank you.
We don't love musicals in general,
don't,
and we
Monica.
say that publicly, which is
dangerous.
it's just equal to me saying I don't like dogs, which is also true. But man, did it get me.
When you're experiencing some lip from somebody, you have to go through such a long list. You're like, is it because I'm a woman? Is it I'm small? Is it I'm Indian? Is it that I hate dogs? Is it that I hate
I'm
musicals?
adding things by the second.
You're not helping yourself
I'm
figure
not.
out what's really
I'm
going
really
on
not.
in any way. What a delight to meet you, Cynthia.
Me too.
I
Thank you
really
for
have
having me.
enjoyed this
This
immensely.
has been really fun.
You got to urge people to go to shit, but I don't. In fact, I could say, like, whatever you do, do not go on November 22nd to see Wicked. And I know you'll be there.
I bet everyone already has pre-booked their ticket.
I hope so.
Is it a secret when the second one will come out?
The second one is coming out the same time next year.
Oh, okay.
22nd November next year.
And you filmed them both at once, obviously.
We filmed them both at once.
How long did that take? A year?
That took about a year. We started rehearsals August 2022, started shooting December.
So 4 months of rehearsals.
Yeah.
Wow.
We needed it.
Of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
It was
Yeah.
a mammoth.
Well, you're doing like a Broadway show.
Yeah. Started shooting it in December, came to a halt in June or July. I can't remember, for the writing strike or actor strike, both. And then came back top of this year in January, finished in February.
Wow.
Oh, wow. And Ariana's
She's
fantastic.
phenomenal. Yeah, she's great. She's experienced a lot and
Yeah.
she's a sweetheart. And what people don't realize is that she's experienced real heartbreak.
Yeah.
Again, back to the thing we were talking about, trying to figure out everything. So yeah, you have a package. Monica has a package. I have a package. The perfect end of the package also sucks sometimes.
Yes.
It's like very hard to be sympathetic to someone who looks like her and has her career. And she's just as worthy of anyone's sympathy. You love
Yeah.
her, right? I've heard you talk about
Tenderness
her. You
and
guys have really fallen in love.
I love her. She's a bright spark, but you just want to like
Take care of them.
Yeah.
give her a big old hug. And we really took care of each other. This was like a big one for us. We used to joke that the two of us were like dust by the end of it because we were working to the bone.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever scratches, scrapes, cuts, bruises you think you could get, we had them. The flying in harnesses, chafing, we had it.
Yeah.
Chafing was like a funny word to me until I realized what chafing actually looked like when you had it repetitively.
It's almost a bed sore at that point.
My gosh.
Yeah.
It took months for my hips to just heal. Scratched palms, bleeding. I had a bloody nose at one point. Like it was
Yeah.
mad. We were in this the whole way. Outside, she's got basically her arms out all the time. When it's cold, it's cold. There's nothing you can do about it. You want to fly outside? Okay, we're flying outside. Is it windy? Yes, tough. We're going to do it anyway. Is it raining today? Yep. It won't show on camera, so we're going to do it. That kind of thing. We were willing to do whatever it took to do this. You want to be in at 3 a.m.? Be in at 3 a.m. We're going to finish this makeup because we need to be on set by 5.
Yeah, you know, in some weird way, it's lucky you did it at this age. Because
Yes.
if you tried to do this at 45 with this long ass career, you'd be like, I am not getting in that harness. And it's rare
Like,
that
I
I
know
can.
about chafing. I'm not doing.
And it's rare that I can ask women to feel bad for men, but I've spent a lot of time in harnesses
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Just put a penis and balls in that same harness as well as everything else that's going on. You're in it sometimes going, well, this can't be how it is, right? Like this is probably going to destroy my reproductive capabilities.
But here's the thing. I'm going to top you there. I'm
Okay.
going to say, think of putting on a harness and then throwing a corset at the same time.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Because the corset's already hitting your hips, right?
Oh,
And now you put the harness on top
God.
of the corset. Yes.
Your ribs hurt.
Yes.
Everything's a mess.
All right, you win. I adore you. I hope everyone goes and sees Wicked November 22nd. And I hope we end up interviewing you a dozen more times as you promote
I would
other
love that.
things. Wonderful.
Can I come back even if I don't have to promote something?
Yes,
'Cause
of
I love
course.
this. This was fun.
Also, Kristen has just started doing this thing on Sundays. She started a choir club.
Oh my goodness.
So if you're ever here on Sunday,
Oh my
I'm sure
gosh.
she would love for you to come. And it's
Looks
just
like
a
an
bunch of
underground.
nerds like you guys fucking singing together.
I would love that.
Yeah,
A choir club?
It's really cool.
Do you know how lovely that would be?
Yeah, because there's no point to it other than
Just to
remembering that
sing
you love
together?
music.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh. I would love that.
All
I
right.
will. Thank
will.
you.
I sure hope there weren't any mistakes in that episode, but we'll find out when my mom, Mrs. Monica, comes in and tells us what was wrong. What now?
No, I will put it on Do Not Disturb for you.
Oh. I thought you had a bad update.
No, I don't have a bad update.
Oh.
On a previous or upcoming, I'm not sure, Armchair Anonymous, you told me that you hate me because I don't put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
That is.
That's how I heard it.
That's how you heard it. Okay. Okay.
So now I put it on Do Not Disturb.
I guess those people will have to listen to Armchair Anonymous and or go back and listen if it already came out.
You should go back and keep listening.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Because, of course, I remember it more of a playful, hey, is there anything like really trivial about each other that we want to air?
Yeah, you tried to make it cutesy, but it wasn't.
It wasn't so cutesy.
No.
But yeah, I inquired, by the way, you don't have a case on your phone.
I know because when I was Mary Kate and Ashley the Row era, I had to take the case off because they would never have a case.
You're absolutely right. You can't look
You can't look like that.
like you need to protect your phone. How low
Embarrassing.
class.
So embarrassing.
Funny enough, someone in the comments had someone wrote totally off topic to the episode, but why aren't any of the people in TV shows or movies using a phone with a phone case on it? No one does this. And they were saying their anxiety of watching a phone in scenes without a case is a
funny.
lot. So I said, generally they have minimally the permission of the phone manufacturer. And so if the phone manufacturer is like, yes, you can use our product, and they probably supply products, they don't want it all obscured with a phone case.
The phone company wants it without the case so that you can see what the phone company is.
Yeah.
But if
I like that you're calling it a phone company.
But if you don't have approval, you do have to have a phone case on because you have to cover up.
Or what they call what's Greeking it. We'll find out if that holds up. But you Greek things on a set too, or you obscure the logo a little bit.
Yeah.
Put a little tape over this and that. You'll see a lot of, if people look closely, they'll see a lot of Mac computers being used in things with little tape on it.
Stickers or tape.
Yep. Covering up that logo. What a great logo, by the way. Not a sponsor.
Not
a sponsor, but what a cute apple.
Although it's kind of weird.
I'm looking directly at yours, of course.
Yeah, and we don't have
We have not
permission.
Greeked it, no. My brother visited yesterday
How was it?
for just, 12 hours.
Wow.
Because he was going on a cruise leaving out of Long Beach. So he and my sister-in-law, Tammy, came from 1 p.m. till the evening. And we went out to Cafe 101 / Clark Street. It's not really Cafe 101 anymore. Had a lovely lunch, played spades, came back. And then we wandered into here and we sat down and we just started chatting. And it was incredibly touching and connected. And we were talking about our childhoods together and realizations we have. And there was even some damp eyes at times.
Sure. From both of you or just
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And it was really, really, really special.
Did you guys hug?
Well, we hugged when he got here and then we hugged a long time when he left.
But did you hug in the
middle.
moment?
No.
That felt too much.
Well, just didn't feel terribly necessary. What we did is afterwards we played pickleball.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, I do have a question about this. Like,
Yeah.
when you're around someone and they have damp eyes
Uh-huh.
because they're about to cry or they're crying a little bit,
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily know how to handle that
Oh.
always. Like, I know how to handle it with my words, but
Meaning you know how to say the right thing?
yes,
Okay.
but I don't because I didn't really grow up in an affectionate family,
Yeah,
physically
yeah.
affectionate family.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I should touch them or not.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
specifically whether or not to touch them.
Yeah, do you?
I don't feel a compulsion to touch people. And maybe this is arrogant, but when that happens to me, and it's generally a man, like if it's happening and it's another man, I immediately feel super flattered.
Sure.
The main feeling I have is like, I'm so lucky that this person feels comfortable doing this in front of me. It doesn't give me anxiety or like I got to do the right thing. To me, the right thing already happened, which is why they're doing it in front of you.
But you don't feel the need to like help or comfort?
No, I don't feel any. Well, I inevitably will comfort and just will be talking about whatever it is and I'll be hopefully dialed in and thoughtful and asking questions but I get no anxiety. But I understand the anxiety.
I get anxiety about to touch or not.
It's just touching.
Yeah.
Okay, your words are fine, as you said.
I feel like sometimes I should like touch
caress their
hand.
hair.
No, not caress.
What if I
their
start
hair?
gently brushing my brother's hair back behind his ear? I mean, he doesn't have enough to tuck behind his ear. Not that he couldn't.
No,
he has very thick hair above his ears.
What if he started playing with the ear and the hair in his ear?
That's very sexual. I mean, so is putting the hair behind the ear.
It is.
But no, I didn't. No. If now a full breakdown, yes, I would have probably moved over to that couch.
And would you have put
I
your
just put my
arm
around him and hoped that he wanted to hide his head in my shoulder.
Oh, wow.
But that would have been a full breakdown.
It needs to be like really bad.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm
going to write down the rules. Rob, do you like to touch people when they cry?
I get like you. I don't know what to do.
That would have been my guess. Yeah. Rob, here's a question, Rob.
Yep.
So that totally makes sense for me.
If it's Natalie, I know what to do.
Of course.
But other people.
And your children.
There's
My children,
exceptions.
yes.
Yeah. But Rob, do you think, and this sounds like I'm fishing for a compliment. I'm truly not. I'm just genuinely curious. We've been working nearly every day together for 7 years. Do you think my willingness to do that with men has at all like rubbed off on you?
Yeah, probably.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Like, do you think like you would take a nice long hug from me, right?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I have friends that I would.
Yeah.
I think it's more
I'd love to hug you if you ever had a sad moment.
if I needed to cry.
Yeah, so if you want to schedule one, I'm totally available.
All right, I'll put it on the calendar.
It depends on who it is, and it depends on how often that exchange happens, like how often you're crying around.
Yeah.
There are some people who've definitely never seen me cry who I'm close to.
Sure.
And then there are others who see me cry a lot. You.
Yeah. Sure.
You've seen me cry a lot. Kristen's seen me cry a lot.
Yeah. Callie, I presume? Or do you keep it buttoned up around
No,
her?
she has. That's interesting, actually. I don't keep it buttoned up. She's definitely seen it.
Yeah.
And heard it. But this is how I am with family. I have a very quick trigger to cry in front of my parents. But
you do?
But I don't want to. So I'm always like trying to not, but it's like always right at the surface.
That's the best kind when you're acting. And that's what you're supposed to do as an actor. You're supposed to try to not cry.
Exactly.
But
I
most
learned
of the time
that.
you're trying to cry really hard. And then the second it starts, then you got to act like you're not.
And you're like
trying
trying to keep it together. I learned that in college.
Acting 107.
I did learn it in college. Yeah. So I'm always like, it's right there. Emotions are just so heightened with your family. I have similar feelings in this environment.
Sure.
Where it's like,
familial.
could happen at any time. The tears,
right.
the floodgates. I don't have that as much with her. I don't know why. It's not good or bad, I don't think.
Yeah. Aaron and I we had this, we did this so often, we would laugh at ourselves for doing it, which is our thing was we drank with everybody, all of our friends, but he and I always went another 3 or 4 hours.
Sure.
Even from our most, hard charging friends, there was always a few hours reserved for Aaron and I to just be together, really hammered at the end of the night. And we would start going through childhood and we would have a good cry while we were hammered.
Oh, wow.
And we loved it. It was the only way we could
talk about it.
Yes, get into all the stuff.
Ugh.
And so we kind of needed it. And yeah, we only did it when we were super hammered. But luckily we were hammered all the time together. So yeah, we would do it. And then we would wake up and we just laugh like, oh yeah, we did that again. just started crying together
Wow.
while we were hammered.
That's funny.
I mean, it feels like somehow the subconscious was like, you got to figure out a way to
This is your
get crying
moment.
together. Like,
Yeah.
however it needs to happen, you do need to probably
Yeah.
have some cries together.
Oh, yeah.
And I've
man.
held Aaron a lot, for sure.
Aaron's very sensitive.
Yeah, so wonderfully sensitive. Isn't it funny? Sensitive is like a pejorative, but it's so.
It's not to me.
Can
It's
you
not
imagine
to
being married
women.
to someone who's not sensitive?
That's a patriarchal thing because people think women are sensitive.
Yeah.
So they've decided that's a
And
negative
guess what?
thing.
Women are sensitive.
Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. I know we need it so much.
Yeah.
That's a great segue.
Okay.
I really wanted to promote the Martha Stewart documentary. Did you finish it?
Not yet.
I knew you wanted.
We still have to talk about substance.
Oh, okay.
We keep adding.
Okay. Well, let's talk about. Do you want to talk about substance first? I mean, we're here talking about women. I think I want to talk about. I want to talk
Great.
about Martha Stewart.
Today's a big.
Uh-oh.
Today's a. I know it's in a couple weeks
Yeah.
that this is coming out, but today is a big day to talk about women.
Why? Who? Oh, why? Who?
It's election day,
I know, but it's.
but it's
It's
not.
so
2 weeks
late.
later.
I know, but
yeah.
I can't act like I'm not thinking about it.
Okay. I'm not going to prevent you from anything. So Martha Stewart, if I just start with my own, of course, I knew who she was all growing up. She's been a very prominent figure in culture forever. I remember when she became a billionaire, that was like very big news. And then her incarceration, which I thought was insider trading. Not only did I think it was insider trading, I thought that's what she went to prison for. I also thought it was insider trading of her own company. Neither of those things are true, which is fascinating. This is like an Amanda Knox story.
Interesting.
And a Marion Jones story. There's another one. I bet we all remember it differently than what it actually was. But watching this doc, I admire her so much. And she's got some very unattractive sides to her,
Big time.
which
yeah.
she kind of owns.
Well, does she?
Well,
that's the part that's the
you
part
gotta
to
get
me.
you got to get deeper into
Okay.
it. It's a phenomenal doc. I really want to interview her, of course. And I think it's great. I recommend it. And I can't wait for you to finish it because we can talk about like the, pretty insane miscarriage of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, America was sick of white collar criminals getting away with shit.
Yeah.
It was in the air. And there was a lot of bad insider trading.
Yeah.
And no one gave a fuck about the other people. They wanted a sacrificial lamb. Everyone wanted someone to pay. And then you add in all the resentment people already have that she is a very successful, very rich, very powerful woman.
Yeah.
And whether anyone's aware of that or not, I don't think anyone was like consciously going, yeah, this is the wrong thing to do. I'm going to do it. I don't think that happened. But I don't think you're aware of how much you're responding to this thing you're threatened by and you don't even know you are.
Yeah.
And
People
the world
carry so many feelings that they don't understand about successful women.
It's very similar to the Kardashian hatred. It's quite similar because Martha was presenting the perfect life. She's in pursuit of perfection. And so people are simultaneously very attracted to that because we all like beauty and we like this stuff. And it's very aspirational and wish fulfillment-y. And then you're mad you don't have it and she has it. And you're jealous, even though in her case, like she was physically doing it all herself. Like she's making floral arrangements and she's making the meals and she's all this stuff. But it's just, there's a lot of things that are fun to look at in the doc. How complicated all of our relationship is with high status people and particularly high status women and people who have what we want is,
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
Very complicated. Yeah, well, I'm excited to watch that.
Okay, the substance. Now, my prediction was, I don't know if it was a prediction. I was just like, it's unrelenting and very intense. And I'm just curious how you're going to feel. What do you rate the intensity, the gore?
So, of course, it's so gory. It's so, it's very
Over the top.
intense. It's so over the top. But I wasn't like, I don't think I was as disturbed as
I was worried.
as you were anticipating.
Yeah.
And I said then, and I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to be true, but I wonder if
Women.
we'll watch this differently and will not think it's as intense as men do. I mean, it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, objectively,
Objectively,
an
it
alien
is.
would go, wow, that's a really wild film the monkeys made.
Yes. Everyone's like kind of screaming. It's like kind of one of those where people are reacting loudly in a really fun way.
Was it pretty packed when you went?
No.
Oh, okay.
There was
The
like
5 people were screaming. Did anyone
Yeah.
walk out? Because people
No.
walked out when I was
No, and that's like, to me, the idea of someone walking out is funny to me.
I mean, I don't want to do any spoilers, but I just want to talk about the sewing of the skin.
Yeah.
That wasn't like, oh my fucking God.
I mean, I was
or
like,
fingernail stuff. No, that stuff was, I mean, that stuff is.
I was like, ew. Of course I was like, ew, oh my God, this is so insane.
Yeah.
But I was not like, oh my God, I got to walk out, or oh, I got to close my eyes. And like by the end of the movie, I was dying laughing. I was laughing out loud at like such a high frequency. I thought it became so funny to me.
Yeah.
So absurd.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Let's take a break from the fact check to thank our presenting sponsor, Audible. If you have Thanksgiving travel coming up, I've got a hack for you. Download the Audible app.
Oh yeah, it is a game changer.
It really is. You all know that I love listening to great audio content on Audible. And if you've got a long road trip coming up or you're hopping on a plane, you can use Audible app to download audio titles straight to your device. So even when you're offline, you can listen to titles on Audible to take your trip to the next level. So instead of hearing that crying baby 2 rows over, you can press play on Breakfast at Tiffany's, narrated by Michael C. Hall.
What? So cool that he narrates an Audible title. Yeah, that's a much better listening experience. The Audible app makes it easy to listen anytime, anywhere. I'm so excited to pick out an audio title to listen to on my trip home to Georgia for the holidays. I have my eye on Bel Canto.
Oh, Bel Canto. You have to let me know how it is. Audible has the best selection of audiobooks and original content out there. And as an Audible member, you can choose one bestseller or new release every month. Plus, listen all you want to thousands of included titles. So the only question is, what to listen to next.
And we've got a special offer for you. New members can get their first audiobook free when they sign up for a 30-day trial.
Now's the perfect time to try. Visit audible.com/Dax or text Dax to 500-500. That's audible.com/Dax or text Dax to 500-500. I have that with violence in movies. You know, where it
Interesting.
starts making me laugh so hard. Some of the violence in Goodfellas, some of the violence in Tarantino movies.
That's
It's
interesting.
just, I think it is interesting. I
Yeah.
think there's something there.
Right. I think because for you, since violence is was a reality,
Big time.
you can see it a little differently, or you can maybe when it's hit an absurd threshold.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And because for me, violence is just scary in
It's all
general.
violence.
It's all scary. It doesn't matter even.
You don't know
the
what's
small-
comedic and what's not.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't laugh at that. But this is like, yes, I'm so clear as to when like body gore has hit another level, or when the message of the female body has like escalated to a different point.
Mhm.
It's such an incredible message. It's so true. Speaking of successful women, it's cast so perfectly because Demi Moore is so gorgeous.
Yes.
She's so beautiful.
She's a knockout. Yeah.
She has aged incredibly
Yeah.
gracefully. She looks incredible.
When you were my age,
She's
Demi
the
Moore,
one.
because she was perfectly the right age above me, where she was like this incredibly exotic young 20-year-old when I was like 15 or whatever.
Yeah, Jess said that he was in love with her.
Oh, wow.
And I was like-
Transcended.
I know. I said,
That says a lot.
well, what'd you want to do? Eat around it?
Do people know that? I think it's worth repeating.
It's worth repeating. If you listen to Monica and Jess Loves Boys,
Yeah.
Monica and Jess Love Boys, that was one of our early spin-off shows. It was a long time ago at this point. We did a 10-episode show with Jess where him and I were so opposite, but we were on like dating missions
Yeah.
basically. And it was such a fun show. I Another show I'm really proud of. Speaking of.
Well, let's add now because people for so many years have wanted to know why you guys didn't do a second season.
Yes.
And I think it's important to just say that you realize if you are actually gonna find love, this was not the right way. You had to prioritize your real.
Yeah, it felt a little
experience.
cheap. We put out the questionnaires and people responded. And once we were
Yeah.
going through them, I was like, yeah, we're just making a show and it wouldn't really be about the real thing.
Instead
and that feels
of
not
your real life
authentic.
informing the show is going to start informing your real life, and that's a dicey road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's why we didn't.
But he had girlfriends in high school.
Yeah, he had girlfriends. Jess is gay, if
Yeah,
people
yeah.
don't know that. He had girlfriends in high school, and we'd be like, well, did you like
What'd you guys
have
do physically?
sex? Or
Yeah.
would you? And he was like, well, I would eat around it.
Which,
Just
by the
like
way,
such
feels
a
very
great
sexy
line.
just having someone eat my thighs and get close. They were
It's
probably
worth-
like teetering on the verge. It might have been better than actual what high school boys were
very
doing
titillating.
directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth perhaps going back and listening to that show just to hear him describe that. Speaking of that, actually, we have a feed. It's called Armchair Limited. It is where all our old series live.
Yo, great. People
So-
are curious about that.
If you ever want to go back and listen to any of these fun things we've
Race to
done.
270. A lot of people have been asking me, like, where's Race to
Race
270?
to 270, Race to 35. So anyway, all our old shows are on there. It's really fun. If you want to go
Armchair
check out-
Limited.
Armchair
Limited.
Umbrella Limited series.
Armchair Umbrella Limited series.
But I think if you type in Armchair
Yeah.
Limited, it'll
Okay.
pop up. Anyway, I asked, did you want to eat around it? And he said, no, I just wanted to write her letters.
Okay.
He was
More
like,
of like, what do they call that? Mother?
yeah. Someone called me that the other day, and I was so flattered. So cool.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Anyhow.
so substance, yeah, like she's so gorgeous and
Mhm.
perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and so when she's starting to go down this road where she's
Taking
looking
a
to
substance.
be younger,
Yeah.
yes, you're like, why? You don't need to do this. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And then you see the young person, and as a woman, and this is so sad, but as a woman, you're like, oh, like, I guess I kind of get it. I understand why she wants that.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. It is so fucked up what we do to aging women in this society. We really cast women aside.
It's asymmetric for sure.
Yeah. The way they shoot the men in the movie is hilarious.
Yes. All fisheye, disgusting. He's always eating shit. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's falling out of his mouth.
Sea substance.
Yeah, sea substance. I want to, we have facts, but also, and this is for Cynthia. She was incredible. Cynthia
Oh,
Erivo.
yeah. What a blast that was.
I have to tell you, any day now, I think we might get unplugged. The sim is hitting new levels.
Oh, okay.
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 Yesterday, I was in Culver City. I'm never in Culver City.
Right.
It was so random. It was kind of last minute.
Yeah.
Decided to go.
Decided to go to Culver City last minute?
Yes.
What on earth was in Culver City?
Jess is helping open a new restaurant.
Okay.
And I told him I would come see
Be a
it.
patron?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I was like really on the fence. I didn't know if I was whatever.
Yeah.
Then last minute I was like, I guess I'll go. I wanted to beat traffic, so I went early. I went at like this random time.
Yeah.
And I park. I'm just sitting in the car. I'm on the phone. And I look over and Molly is staring at me through my car window.
Richardson
Molly
or
Richardson.
McNary? Okay. Molly Richardson.
Who also does not live in Culver City, is
No.
never in Culver City.
Yeah.
Happened to be meeting
Nobody
a friend
goes to
for lunch.
Culver
I know,
City.
exactly. Happened to be meeting a friend for lunch there and like drove by, saw my car, saw my little, she said she saw my little head
Okay.
and
Sure,
then
that's what
parked and what? That is so weird.
it is very weird.
Dax.
We have it's so fine. We have complementary things about that trigger us into the sim.
Okay.
So you have coincidences,
Okay.
right? That's kind of what you don't ever miss. Mine is more what's happening in my lifetime. This feels very suspicious. So my example, my recent sim moment was talking to my hormone doctor,
Mm-hmm.
telling him how, we're just chatting. It's not like I'm asking him to deal with this. I'm just we're talking about getting older maybe. And I said, the thing that's fucking killing me is my eyesight. I find it so frustrating. And I know I'm being a baby, but I cannot stand not being able to fucking read anything that's not 25 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I just got the bionic lenses put on.
Right.
And they go, what bionic lenses? And he said, I think Johnson & Johnson makes now an artificial lens that lasts forever that gives you perfect sight.
Yeah.
And I went, what are the odds I'm not going to have to deal with fucked up declining vision? That's where we're at. Again, that feels awfully suspicious, Monica. For 300,000 years, humans have had to deal with their eyes going to shit, and I might not have to.
Yeah.
Come on, man. My final piece of the puzzle where I'll go, okay, it's a sim. I'm in a sim, is if they shut off aging.
Right.
If they end aging and you don't have to die
I know.
until the earth blows up
Well,
in 5 billion years.
Maybe before
Or sooner,
that.
but-
Yeah. But also you would still die by getting hit by a car and stuff.
You could still die by getting, I think we've really beat out all the things that this would cause. I think you'd get abnormally fearful of accidental death.
Everyone become agoraphobic.
You'd walk around with a big bubble wrap all over you.
Yeah.
So that to me, that's more what I'm tracking.
Yeah.
And I've always said this. Mostly people that believe in the sim have an abnormally lucky life. And I own that.
Yeah, but that's if you're looking at the sim in the way you're looking at the sim. If you look at it in the coincidental way, that doesn't have to be privileged. That's just like, what the fuck is going on that I just said this, or that I'm running into Molly, that my neighbor of my house owns the apartment next door. That's not.
That stuff, I acknowledge that stuff is very simmy.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you've had, two people knock you up that lied and said they had vasectomies and you're in a trailer on welfare, and if you do think it's a sim, I feel so bad for that, because why would that person deserve that sim?
Exactly.
Why would they plugged into something to have that experience? So I don't think that person would ever think they're in a sim, because why would they? Who would be in a sim that's fucking insufferable?
Well, that's if you it gets so heady, because if I'm in my sim,
the people that are suffering are fake.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we hope.
I know.
I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want anyone that's in a sim should be having a fucking.
But in their sim,
ride.
they are.
This is very confusing. Well, TBD.
Whatever. All
TBD.
to say, I think we might get unplugged soon, because it's getting so crazy.
Same bionic eyes. I mean, they just happen.
Okay, Cynthia.
Boy, did I like her. That self-assuredness is so attractive to me.
Very. Okay, Michaela Cole. We were talking about if she was younger or older. She is the same age. She's 37 as well.
Okay.
All of us were born in 87, all three of us.
Special year, as we know.
Special year.
7th grade for me, birth for you.
A postpartum doula. You wanted to know what that was.
Yeah.
A trained professional who offers support to new parents during the postpartum period, which is the first 6 weeks after giving birth. Postpartum doulas can help with a variety of tasks, including physical care, helping with breastfeeding, infant feeding, and infant soothing, emotional support, information, housework, incorporating older children. Helping to incorporate the older child.
Integrating,
Overnight shifts. She mentioned one of her heroes, Cicely Tyson. And yes, she was nominated for Best Actress in 1973 for Sounder. Cicely Tyson was.
I wasn't even here yet.
No, you weren't.
Still a few years away.
Couple years.
Did you say 72 or 73?
3.
Ugh, 2. Yeah, okay.
Your brother was here.
69.
Ding, ding, ding. Erica Badu. I just wanted to, because you asked if she was late, and I just want to be clear. That's a thing with her. It's a thing that she is late a lot. And
it's cool, although I like it. The queen's late. Like, you wait for the queen.
Yeah, I agree. For people who don't know that, it seemed random that you would ask that.
Yeah.
But it's a thing. Like, people ask, like, what? Oh, she's going to be a couple hours late. Yeah. You said that your cousin told you that mathematically every song has already been created. That's not true.
Oh.
The number of possible sound combinations is essentially infinite. For example, Spotify, the world's largest music platform, has over 100 million songs registered, and 100,000 new songs are added every day.
Whoa. Every day?
That's what it says.
100,000 songs are added every day.
That's what it says.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So no. There's a infinite number of combinations.
Okay.
Essentially.
All right.
So you can tell your cousin.
I'm not going to tell him.
Okay.
It sounds like a fun thing for him to hold on to.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we talk about how in England they have things. We have things here that they don't have because we allow chemicals that they don't.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We play it fast and loose.
We do. But in 2023, about a year ago, California became the first state to ban 4 food additives linked to disease.
What are they?
The California Food Safety Act prohibits the manufacturing, distribution, and sale of food and beverages that contain brominated vegetable oil,
Oh, I love brominated vegetable oil. Delicious.
don't.
I got to move.
potassium bromate,
Oh, no. Okay.
propylparaben,
Well, what about propofol?
and red dye 3. Red dye 3 is the biggie.
Yeah.
Can be found in candy, fruit juices, and cookies and more. Cookie boy.
Cookie boy.
Anyway, so that's good.
How are you doing on your cookie boyness? When's the last time you had a cookie?
I had a cookie at least 2 weeks ago because I had one at Sycamore Kitchen. Love Sycamore Kitchen. They have a Rice Krispie treat cookie. It's so insane.
I just had an impulse I'm
Okay.
going to share with you. You know how I want to go back in my time machine and woo your grandma so bad?
Mm-hmm.
I'd kill to do that.
Yeah.
I also want to see you as a baby because now when I just asked you about cookies, of course you looked 1 year old when you started thinking about your cookies. And so I want to go back and see you as a baby eating a cookie.
Oh,
How
like my
hot-
first cookie.
How hot was your grandma when you were a baby? Can I hit 2 birds with 1 stone?
Yeah, she was beautiful.
She was.
Gorgeous.
How old was she when you were eating cookies as a 1 year old?
She would have been, okay, let's see. So my mom is 26 years my senior.
Mm-hmm. How old was?
She was probably 20.
But isn't that your dad's mom?
No.
Oh, that's your mom's
Yeah.
mom.
You didn't know that?
I don't know, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think of that grandma feels very Indian, and I know that your mom's parents lived in Savannah.
They came from India.
They came, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know because your dad, of course, feels so much more like he was an adult when he left India.
Yeah, he was.
So when I see a picture like that, I'm in India.
You are in India. They are
Congratulations,
Indian.
you got that one right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so she was probably in her late 40s when I was born. So she was probably around your age that I was eating cookies.
Oh, wow. Okay, I think this is gonna work.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, my grandpa.
He won't know. All right, let me flip it. If you wanted to go back in time and give Papa Bob some ass, I love my grandma Yolis to death.
I wouldn't do that to her.
You haven't met her.
But you love her.
I love her so much.
So why would
Smartest
I do
person
that?
I ever knew. Because this is a one-off time capsule for him. This is like he doesn't even know if it was a dream the next day because you came into town and you were nowhere to be found because you went back to the future.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. Not a sponsor. Great movie. It's a one-off. There's no threat to the marriage because you return to the future. He can't fall in love with you and ruin everything. It's just a one-off. You give Papa Bob a little tush. I would want that for him. I would want it for him. And my grandma didn't need to know.
Mm.
And I would want Brad Pitt to go back and give Euless the ride of her life.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That one feels less.
Why do we want that
I
for her and
know.
not him?
I don't know what to say.
We don't have a word for misogynist for men. What is it? We need that
There's
word.
no such thing.
There's no such thing.
That's why.
It feels very mean to men. It feels mean to men that she gets Brad Pitt, but Papa Bob can't have some
That's not mean.
tush.
She.
Isn't tush the grossest thing
Yeah,
to
I
say?
hate. You keep saying it, and I think it's disgusting.
There's a 70s rock song. He's like, I'm just looking for some tush.
Ugh.
And Aaron and I used to sing. It is so grody.
Okay, we're gonna get stereotypical here.
Yeah, of course.
Women, I think, for the most part,
Mm-hmm. Caveat,
Yeah.
asterisks.
for the most part, their sex drive, they don't want to have as much sex as men do. As they age, as they get older, as things happen. Like, I mean, it's actually for real, your sex drive does.
Also, we have
Take a dip.
testosterone. That's the sex fuel. Anyone will tell you that.
Well, we have testosterone, but not as much.
Yeah.
But yes, but with menopause and perimenopause, everything drops off. I know because I'm in perimenopause.
Just, you're
And
not.
so I think a lot of women are having sex with their husbands past the point of them wanting. We know this. It's like the husbands are like, "Can we have sex once a week?" And the wives are like, "Sure,
I think that's
guess."
the predominant pattern.
Exactly. Not
But
always.
I do want to add, and this I think comes from, there's a ton of great work on this from social scientists like Ira's mom who studied
Oh, yeah,
infidelity. Women cheat the same amount, but they are driven by novelty.
Mhm.
This is like agreed upon. Women are driven by novelty and men are driven by sprain, unfortunately. So, put that in your argument. This is kind of known.
It says men are more likely to cheat than women.
Okay. But like 51 to 49? Or?
It's according to
These men are cheating with somebody.
This is 2022. Yeah, but they might be cheating on someone who's
With a
not in a
single.
partnership. Yeah. 20% of men and 13% of women admitted to cheating on their spouse.
Okay, yeah, and then I'm just gotta, I gotta do my thing, which is like admitting. Culturally, it's so much worse for a woman to admit it. It's so expected of men.
Even more. Exactly. This is all tying back
Yeah,
into
yeah.
what I'm about to say, which is why it's not the same that if Grandma Yolis gets to have sex with Brad Pitt, it's not the same.
You feel like it's writing the scale.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
Okay,
I do.
so I imagine that just don't hate me.
Okay.
If it's admitted 20% and 13%, I think the real numbers are probably like 35% for men and probably like 29% for women. That's just what I think. From the amount of adults I've known that have been married and the amount of affairs I know about and who they were with, that to me feels way more likely.
I'm really trying to think because I don't want to speak out of school.
Mm-hmm.
But in my experience, I don't know very many, but I personally only know
Really?
men who have cheated
None of
on
your
their
girlfriends
wives.
cheated on their boyfriends. Most of the girls I know cheated on their
One girl
boyfriend at some point.
cheated on her boyfriend.
One?
Well, let me think.
Let me go through every woman I've ever known.
Okay, well, I guess for me, I'm thinking more marital.
Yeah, okay.
Once people are married,
Mhm.
in my experience, only know men who have cheated on their wives.
I bet it's gone up too since women joined the workforce because forever they were at home and they would interact with other women. Who the hell are they even going to meet? Whereas like men were meeting women out in their workplace all the time.
Well, they weren't meeting women out in the workplace.
Sure, they
if
had
those were the-
secretaries and all
Oh,
these
I see.
roles that were conventionally females.
Yeah.
Like my Papa Bob worked at the Wonder Bread Bakery. Sure, everyone in the bakery was men carrying bags of flour, but then up front there was all these women doing all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Anywho, okay. So
Okay, Mexican music is
hold on though.
what?
Oh wow.
What?
So I accept your full logic. Then why doesn't that apply to your sweet grandma? Why isn't she like my grandma Yolis?
Wait, what do you mean?
If you okay Brad Pitt having a night with Euless,
Yeah.
useless eggshells, named after Ulysses S. Grant,
Uh-huh.
why wouldn't your grandma be entitled to a night with me?
Because I don't want that for my grandfather.
Oh, right. But it's okay for my grandfather, which would make sense. You
It
don't
makes
have-
sense for your grandfather because you said you want it.
Yeah. I want them.
I don't want it
Okay.
for them.
All right. I'm moving on.
Okay. Tejano music is influenced significantly by polka. You were right. That's it.
That was everything.
Well, let me just do one more double check. Yep.
All done. Final note, not a spoiler. Loved Wicked.
Oh,
You got to go see Wicked.
got to. You will. Everyone already will. Everyone's already seen it probably by now, but it is so good.
Popular. All right. I love you.
Love you.